are a client
I don't
of
know.
theirs.
I don't know.
IT is incredibly important
I don't
for a radio
understand
station.
why they don't.
We can't depend
when
on
they
somebody
know
saying, well,
somebody
we'll be out there
signed,
tomorrow, because
when
all
there's a
you
month
hear
to go
is
before they
nothing.
end.
So
Why
it's
don't you
do
come
or
to me
die
and
for us.
say,
That's
hey,
why
Ralph,
we
why don't you talk
depend
to these
on
people?
adaptive
Their
networks.
contracts about
When you
to end.
call, you'll actually
Well,
talk
still,
to a real person who knows your name, understands your business,
But
and
it's March and
generally
no one
cares
said a word
about
to me.
solving
They're just
your
gone.
No
I still
phone
understand
trees,
that.
no run around, no attitude.
I should have too.
That's adaptive networks
should have too.
are all about.
I know.
Call today at 661-241-0638. That's 241-0638. Join the IT network that American General Media uses every day.
Are the rising waters of expenses and debt threatening to drown you? Many people try to stay afloat by borrowing more money or using debt settlement programs, but those can take years. If you're trapped under credit card debt, medical bills, payday loans, or buy now, pay later plans, Chapter 7 bankruptcy could free you much sooner, in about 4 months and for a fraction of the cost. Stop the harassing calls and letters, rebuild your credit quickly, and clear the way for a fresh start. At Clean Slate BK Group, consumer Chapter 7 bankruptcies are all we do. We can help you erase credit card debt, medical bills, personal loans, even past due utility bills. Find out if you qualify at no cost and with no obligation. Go to csbk.com. This is an attorney advertisement. Your results may vary, and prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome. Clean Slate BK Group PC, located at 7 Penn Plaza, Suite 601, New York, 10001, is responsible for the content of this ad. For more information, visit csbk.com. That's csbk.com. Your clean slate starts here.
The playoff chase is heating up as the Condors host the Tucson Roadrunners for 2 big games this weekend. Friday, it's a $3 beer Friday with Michelob Ultra and Mango Cart, just $3 till the start of the second period. It's also Faith and Family Night, presented by Michael K. Brown Landscaping and Kern Pools, with a performance from Bakersfield Worship Project. Saturday, it's First Responders Night with an emergency vehicle parade, presented by 5-0 Driving School and Eyewitness News. Stores open at 6, puck drops at 7. Fun starts at just $15 at condorstown.com or by calling 324-POT. This is Condorstown.
It's the 3rd annual Autism on the Run, benefiting Hearts Connection. Saturday morning, April 11th at the Park at Riverwalk off Stockdale Highway. You can participate in the Family Walk, 2K, 5K, or 10K. Sponsorships, vendors, raffle items, and volunteers still needed. All proceeds stay local and help local families. There will be prizes, snacks, drinks, kids zone, and more. For tickets and info, contact Susan Graham at 661-328-9055. We'll see you there for Autism on the Run.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
How long is the Kennedy bite? Is it inside of 3-4 minutes? It's not really long, is it? Let's play that. This is the final straw. We've got some other audio we'll play later in the program, but I want to get, before we get to the bottom of the hour, because I want to get into Senator Mullen. Want to get into the final straw that broke the back. As I said, it was part of the affair, part of how she handled immigration, the spending, the ridiculous spending that will chronicle throughout the program. But this is what her own words, her own testimony did her in with the president.
No, ma'am. I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correctly.
Did the president know you were gonna do
OMB.
this?
Yes.
He did.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
And one thing, Senator, I think would be helpful to know is how effective that communications has been. That
Well, they were
overwhelmingly
effective in your name recognition. I mean, I personally just, I mean, to me, it puts the president in a terribly awkward spot. And and I'm not saying you're not telling the truth. It's just hard for me to believe. On the president, as I do, that you said, Mr. President, here's some ads I've cut and I'm going to spend $220 million running them, that he would have agreed to that.
Yeah, that's what did her in. And as you guys know, if you know attorneys or you know anything about being an attorney and what lawyers do, 8 times out of 10, when they ask a question, they have the answer. Now, that's normally in a trial setting where there's been a deposition and obviously, you know, the testimony coming up. But and I don't even know if John Kennedy from Louisiana, who has nothing to do with the Kennedy family. I've heard so many times people believe that, oh, Bumpkin, Louisiana, funny senator from, I think, Baton Rouge, was part of the Irish Bremen Kennedy family from Massachusetts, but he's not. He's a good old boy from Louisiana. And that's what did her in. This, have you seen these ads? They're really good ads, but they don't feature Donald Trump. And he did not. Either Trump is throwing her under the bus, and he did somehow okay it, maybe not even knowing what the hell she was talking about or what she wanted to do, or she just absolutely lied. And after you show up Trump, you're spending $220 million to ride on a horse with Mount Rushmore in the background, and you're having an affair with one of your staffers, and you're flying all over the world in these built planes. It was absolutely untenable. As I said at the top of the show, the good news for Pete Hegseth and Pam Bondi, who the president showed some love to this morning, they're safe. Because if you whack two people in your administration in such a close time before the midterms, you look like you don't know what you're doing. We'll learn about the new DHS secretary next.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The United States and Venezuela have agreed to reestablish diplomatic relations in a major shift of a historically adversarial relationship. The move comes after rounds of Trump administration officials have visited the South American nation after a U.S. military operation deposed former President Nicolas Maduro in January. President Trump has fired his embattled Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Trump said he was nominating Oklahoma Republican Senator Mark Wayne Mullen for the position in an announcement on social media on Thursday. The announcement came after Noem faced a two-day grilling on Capitol Hill from Republicans and Democrats. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 784 points. The Nasdaq dropped 58. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN local news update on News Talk 90 and AM 1180 KERN.
A possible 50-year to life sentence now looms April 1st for Jaquan Davenport, and an 11-year sentence for his both convicted this week for the murder and attempted cover-up of 27-year-old Ronetta Faye Martin of Rosamond, who was shot in the head while driving the brothers in 2022 after kicking them out of her place. 50-year-old Winfield is missing and was last seen on 31st Street about noon Saturday. 5 feet 11 inches tall and 130 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. Winfield was last seen wearing a green sweater, blue jeans, and black sneakers. His family, and that puts him at risk. I'm Chris. Are in newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Dr.
Hello, this is Bakersfield General Surgeon Dr. Roland Wright, friend of Mr. Paul Sheldon. It is my great pleasure and privilege to relate to all of you my absolute exemplary experience with Team Paul Sheldon. I have also referred another to Paul Sheldon's office only to receive the most stellar feedback regarding the office's expert navigation through the complex maze that is Medicare. And even though Paul Sheldon himself is now facing some temporary health challenges, the most experienced and expertly trained team of ladies and Lynn continue to masterfully guide the clients through the complicated world of Medicare. You most definitely could not possibly do any better than through before turning 65. Thank you.
When Medicare Team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the First Look program, we'll get you an update on a kid from Bakersfield who's still stuck in Qatar. Got the March meets coming up. We got a preview of the upcoming Formula One race, which also starts this weekend. We got news. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1.
See, that's a nice mix-up. I like it. I like it. I like it. I've heard that a long time. There's a couple of things I want to get straight before we get to Mark Wayne Mullen, who I think is an outstanding selection by the president. I think this is an absolute home run. As I said, senators stick together. It is very rare when a senator is not confirmed by his former fellow colleagues. For example, who was the easiest confirmation in the current cabinet? Former Senator Marco Rubio, based half on his pure talent. As again, I've said, I think he's been the star of this cabinet, and a cabinet that I think has been full of clowns. I think Rubio has been outstanding. I think Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, has been outstanding. I think he is a possible presidential candidate in 28. Doug Burgum is going to be another presidential candidate. I think he's been outstanding. Scott Bessent, the homosexual Treasury Secretary, not a presidential candidate. That's why I mentioned he's gay. We're not ready for that. Pete Buttigieg, Scott Bessent, we're not ready for that as a country. We're just not. We're not electing a homosexual. We're just not. We're not there yet. We will be one day, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. But these are the stars of the cabinet, and Mark Wayne Mullen will add to that. I really believe that. He's a badass. Again, he is very popular on both sides of the aisle. He's most famous for audio and video. You guys may have seen where he got into a fight, because remember, he's a UFC fighter. And so there's a Senate panel going on. He's interrogating the president of the Teamsters, Sean O'Brien. You guys remember this? You remember this, Chris?
Vaguely.
And he's like, shut up. Well, you shut up. I mean, at one point it was like recess in sixth grade. And then at some point, Mark Wayne Mullen says, we can go at it right here. And Sean, what's his name? O'Brien's like, let's go. And what's his name? Mullen takes his ring off, is about to get up, and they're like, all right, calm down. All right, let's get justice in here. All right, order in the panel, But he's a badass. And the reason I bring that up, these guys are pals now. That's what the folks inside the Beltway are saying about Mullen, that he's a guy that forgives and forgets. He can reach across the aisle. I mean, he wanted to beat the crap out of this guy, and thank God he didn't, because he would have. But according to reports of the Washington Post, they're friends. So this was an outstanding pick. They can absolutely reset DHS. They can end the videos of people getting dragged out of their cars, homes being busted in without warrants. You can totally reset this and possibly save the midterms. Again, I'm going to bust it every single day, the importance and how consequential the midterms are going to be. You know what? I was thinking about how I could then convince you of this. Let's flip the script just for a second before I get into more. You hear from Mark Wayne Mullen. Imagine that the liberals had a 6-3 majority in the Supreme Court. And imagine if they had the House and the Senate and the presidency. All right? They own everything, including the court, in a 6-3 majority. And then all of a sudden, one year, we flip the script. Republicans get the House and the Senate and the presidency. What would we do? You know damn well what we would do. We would get rid of the filibuster. We would pack the court to 15, adding 6 conservative justices, and flip the majority from 6-3, where that court would have upheld a biological man's right to play with females and be in females' locker rooms. a 6-3 liberal majority that would have allowed teachers to keep secrets from parents, and a recent 6-3 conservative decision that so no, you can't do that, our whole world would be different. Our entire world, as we know it, would be different with a 15-member court. And that's exactly what they would do if they get the majority. It's exactly what we would do if we were in the minority. So trust me, this is what they're going to do. And that's why I keep banging this and telling you how consequential these midterms are. And now with what's going on in Texas, where it looks like that could possibly be flipped. I mean, just to say that has never been said. You know how old Texas is? That's a question because I have no idea. They were once a republic, a country, but they're pretty damn old. And in the history of the state of Texas, there have been 6 Democratic senators. The last one, most of you old folks remember, ran with Michael Dukakis in 1988, Lloyd Bentsen. That was the last Democratic senator to come out of the state of Texas. And now it is likely that James Tellerico, who might be going up against a candidate who is ethically compromised, who is legislatively compromised. He was impeached as the attorney general. I'm talking about Ken Paxton. He had an affair, allegedly, according to his wife, who was a state senator in Texas, with another married woman who had 7 children. And guess what James Tellerico does for a living before he got into politics? He was a minister. So we're placing a philandering, impeached, charged with fraud. He was acquitted, but nevertheless charged with fraud, impeached as an AG, like I said the other day. Have you ever heard of an attorney general impeached? Which would give us some ideas with Rob Bunt, I'll tell you, but that's beside the point. Up against a minister. The word around the campfire, like I said yesterday, is that Trump is going to go to Paxton and say, you got to drop out. We need Cornyn. You can't beat James Tellerico, and we can't lose Texas. In the meantime, like I said, this is a wonderful, wonderful appointment. Here is Mark Wayne Mullen.
I was excited. The president, first of all, the president, I have a really good relationship. We talk all the time anyways. I've got to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting the call today, but super excited. And I'm more excited about just ready to get started. There's a lot of work we can do to get Department of Homeland Security working, working for the American people. You know, the Department of Homeland Security has a very broad jurisdiction. And I think there's a lot of work that we need to do, and I'm excited.
This could be a whole new reset and could absolutely save the day. This is a likable guy. I think you can get that from just listening to him. Like I said, on both sides of the aisle, very likable. And he can reset this whole thing and target true criminals. And at minimum, even if you disagree with me on getting rid of every illegal alien, no matter how long they've been here, no matter how much they've kept their nose out of trouble, no matter how much taxes they paid, no matter how established they are in their respective communities, if you really believe they need to go, at least let's stop harassing U.S. citizens. And this is not uncommon, folks. I'm sorry, it's just not. And I had audio, I'm not going to bore you with it because I know you don't want to hear it, but we've got audio of senators who brought U.S. citizens who were detained, some as long as 96 hours, some who were tried to show their passports, some who weren't even asked for identification when they were picked up. They were just told they looked Mexican. I've seen the videos. Where they walk up to somebody at a Home Depot and say, what country are you from? United States. Really? We don't think so. And just grab them and throw them in the car. Literally. And if that happens once, that's once too often. Well, now we can reset it with Mark Wayne Mullen. We can absolutely recapture this. Because if we can focus this thing, this is Trump's signature issue. This is the thing that got him over the goal line. And if we can reset this and put this in the right path, I'm telling you, we can save the midterms. We have to save the midterms. Because I'm telling you, the whole world changes if they gain control. Imagine Hakeem Jeffries, the Speaker of the House. Try that on for size. Chuck Schumer, the majority leader in the Senate. And God help us, God forgive us, God forbid, President Gavin Newsom. Now, I don't think that's possible, but Shapiro,
J.B. Pritzker. And I've got some independent audio. I'm just talking to my producer now of Gavin Newsom. He was at some panel extolling the virtues of California. I'm like, really? He's like, we're the fourth largest economy in the world, and this, that, this. Well, Gavin, why are people leaving the state in droves? Why are they predicting that in 2030, when we do the census again, that we're going to lose 4 more congressional seats? That's tens of thousands of people that are going to Tennessee and Florida and Texas. This is a great time. This really is an opportunity. It really, truly is. And when we come back, let's go ahead and take a break. We'll get into the Iranian war. I want to reset. I don't know if it's reset, but just make clear my position on the war. I'm not against what we're doing. You've heard me on this show say we need to finally, inevitably, deal with Iran. You even, maybe on a bad day, heard me say we need to make a parking lot out of Iran. My criticism in calling it a disaster yesterday has been the rollout and how we're doing it. And we're handing this thing to Democrats, making it look like we're kind of making it up as we go. The classic example is this Sean Starkey, who used to be one of our neighbors, who's stuck in a hotel room in Qatar, or Qatar, however you want to say it. That we didn't figure out how to get our people home before the bombs started dropping. And the fact that Rubio said it was because of Israel, and then Trump said, no, I had a hunch. And then, of course, Pete Hegseth's insensitive comments about the 4 deaths. We now know the knowledge or the names of all 6 that have died. But that's my position. We'll get into that. Then Mr. Turnipseed will join us at the top of the hour. Our money man, Daniel Petrey, at 4:30. And local news, Maya Hernandez, the described hot car mom, learned her fate today. That's all coming up on the Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com. What time is everything?
96.1 and AM 1180.
You got KC right here.
All right. Well, what time is Mike? All right. What time? Both of them. Adaptive and Mike.
Messmaker is 4:15. Mike is 5:15.
Okay, great. Thanks.
And take you into the weekend with all the information you need to make sure that it is a well-informed weekend on Play and Buy.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Trying to figure out what to do for date night this weekend. If you would head to F Street, to KC Steakhouse. You all are the ones that voted KC Steakhouse. Not only the best steakhouse, which is an obvious call, but you gave them best ambiance of any restaurant in town. And that's because it's almost 90 years old. It's got the old red leather chairs that keep the music up with Jimmy and Bobby Tuesday through Saturday. I've always talked about it. Literally becomes like a 45 plus disco on Fridays and Saturday nights. People out there shaking their booty. And of course, Chef Daniel just does an incredible job just advancing the menu, going beyond just red meat, the fish dishes. I've told you about the swordfish, the halibut, the mahi-mahi. Don't forget about the Stockyard next door where they have live music on Thursdays and Fridays, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Go have one of the craft cocktails. You can also have dinner there. And they have a beautiful banquet room for election night events, lunches, where you name it. You can do it at the Stockyard. Head to F Street this weekend. KC Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
I was ordering food from our usual place for the big meeting. My VP said, please, God, no.
For workplaces suffering with corporate catering deficiency, every day's a struggle.
The food was always meh and over budget. Before Easy Cater, I thought that was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat CCD with a huge variety of restaurants, help meet dietary needs, and stay on budget. Usually, one platform lets you save time and thrive. Ask your web browser about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't. 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
what do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
The House voted down an effort on Thursday to halt the war against Iran and force President Trump to go to Congress for authorization. As a small bloc of Democrats joined nearly all Republicans in delivering an early sign of support for the war in the Middle East. This is the last thing that any of these guys wanted to do, because as we found out through Iraq and Afghanistan, if you get on board on record, maybe this is why President Trump has avoided to do this, it could end your career. You know what I'm saying? If you support this thing and it goes badly, it could end your career. Absolutely. Or if it goes well and you vote against it, it could absolutely ruin your career. But it was interesting that you saw it was a bipartisan vote. Some Democrats realize the midterms are coming up, and I'm not going back to my district voting against this thing on the chance that it's successful or that the tide turns. And I think the tide could turn. I truly believe that. Again, my only problem with this thing thus far is just how they've handled it. But the idea that we are going after the Iranians finally is an outstanding idea and was inevitable. And did you know this? There are a group, I forget what it's called. It's about 74 retired generals, and almost to a person, man and woman, about 70, I heard like 70 of the 74 retired generals agree with what the president's doing. And they obviously listen to the Ralph Bailey show because many of them had the opinion that they support what he's doing. They just don't like the way he rolled it out. They don't like the way it's been done, but they absolutely agree that the Iranians were going to get ballistic missiles. They were going to be able to do what North Korea was able to do, and that was shield their nuclear infrastructure. And, you know, all through these talks leading up to the attack with Jared Kushner and Howard Lutnick, that they just wouldn't give up the infrastructure. They kept insisting that it was for, you know, humanitarian causes and reasons, or for the citizens of Iran. And who believes that? Now, the president's assertion that they were 2 weeks away from having a nuclear weapon, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know about that. But it's interesting to learn, because you're not going to hear that on CNN. You're not going to hear that on MS Now, that overwhelming majority of retired generals agree with what the president is doing. But these guys definitely don't want to be on record. And now they are. And now you've got skin in the game. And that's another thing where it seems like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, where the president and the Secretary of Defense have openly
very unashamedly called this a war. Not once, not twice, but every single time they allude to it. Meantime, Mike Johnson's on record, several Congress members are on record saying this is not a war. Now, why is that? Why is that obvious discrepancy? Well, because they realize that the War Powers Act, as I tried to explain to Teresa Golden, she kind of disagreed with me, but it's that and 75 cents will get you to Bakersfield, California. You know what I'm saying? It's worthless. It's absolutely worthless. Nobody, no one, no president since 1973 has paid any damn attention to it. And if you've noticed over the last couple of days, the favorite target, because it's Democrats, Ronald Reagan, is Barack Obama in Libya. He absolutely ignored the Congress, absolutely did exactly what the president has done, talked to the Gang of Eight and shut out the 435. Absolutely. And you've got to remember what DC is. I think sometimes we forget what DC is. DC is about 540 people who think they can be president of the United States. You got to always remember that in your calculations. Every single one of them. I don't care who they are or where they're from. You don't think at some point and I say 540, and I know what you're saying. You're saying, Ralph, I know you got a 40 on math SAT, but there are 435 Congress members and 100 senators. That's 535. Where'd you get 540? Well, you got to throw in the 5 members of the cabinet. You got 435 congressmen who want to be president or think they could be president. You got 100 senators who think they could be president. That's 535. And you got Rubio, you got Vance, maybe Doug Burgum runs again. I think Sean Duffy's going to run. And you throw in the X factor that we can't predict. That's 5 others. That's 540. So whenever you're calculating what's going on and why people do things, you got to remember that. They all think they could be president one day. They all believe it. And they do not want to be on the record on the wrong side of this thing, as a lot of folks were on Iraq and Afghanistan. And those people are back in their home district selling groceries. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What do you got on the board?
Mark Wayne Mullins knows nothing about running Homeland Security. He has no background in it.
What is there to know? What is there to know? What is there to know? Is it really that complicated? Kristi Noem could have done it, but she was an idiot. Tom Homan's got this. You just lead with direction and how we're going to go about it. It's that simple. Hell, I could run DHS right now in terms of public perception and where we're going and what we're doing. You just hone the message. That's all. It's not rocket science. This is our issue, and we let it slip through our fingers. Well, let's see if this guy can make a shoestring catch. Of course you don't think he's qualified. You're a Democrat liberal. We're not expecting you to jump on board. What else you got?
Ralph, we have no money for the ACA. We have no money to spend to upgrade the interior of the United States for free college, but we have $1 billion a day to spend in Iran, plus another $500 billion for rearming.
What would you like to see? Would you like to see the Iranians continue what they've been doing to us for over 40, 50 years? Really? Is that what you want? Do you understand who these people are? We've been talking about this all week. Do you understand who these people are? Just as we chant, God bless America, they chant death to America. And that is an inherent belief. That's who they are. And I don't know about you, and we can all disagree on this. Maybe y'all are okay with what's going on in the Middle East. I'm not. Members of my party's not. And we finally got a president who is not, and who's willing to do something about it and change the equation. We've got the Kurds involved. That's a possibility. I don't like that the CIA is getting involved. I'm fearful of the CIA and always have been since 1960. Not that I was born alive in 1960, but just in terms of history. That's why John Kennedy was trying to break him up. That's why he fired Allen Dulles, and that's why he got murdered, partly. But let's do one more. Mr. Turnipseed. Is Mr. Turnipseed here?
He is, yes.
Okay, one more.
Ralph, like Tupac said, we have no money for wars, but can't feed the poor. With all the money that is spent, they can pay people's mortgages or car notes.
or we can keep the United States safe, or we can settle what is going on in the Middle East. And this growing anti-Israel sentiment is going to come back and bite the Democratic Party right in the behind. I've got that audio that I told you where Gavin is extolling the virtues of living in California. He also talks about his belief that we should start to move away from Israel. That's becoming a really popular position because the polls indicate that the country went from about 75% believing that we should support Israel to about 45%. Well, the Republicans don't feel that way. And I think in a general election, that is a great debate for Republicans to have with Democrats. That you really think that we can give up the one friend that we have in the Middle East. What do you think our intelligence in killing their nuclear infrastructure in this Operation Epic Fury, where do you think that intelligence comes from? That comes from Israelis on the ground in Iran. Quick time out. We make a pivot. Mike Turnipseed joins us next.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump wants to be involved in choosing Iran's next supreme leader. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
Speaking to the Axios and Reuters news outlets, the president said he has to be involved in the appointment, like he was with the leader in Venezuela. He said he would refuse an Iranian leader who would continue the same policies, and he ruled out the son of the late Ayatollah, calling him a lightweight. The Pentagon has denied that the goal of the war against Iran is regime change. So the president's comments may raise more questions about the military campaign's objective. Greg Clugston, Washington.
President Trump has dismissed Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Bernie Bennett has this report.
President Donald Trump says he's replacing embattled Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, will nominate in her place Oklahoma Republican Senator Mark Wade Mullen. Trump made the announcement on social media Thursday, 2 days after Noem faced a grilling on Capitol Hill from GOP members as well as Democrats. Mr. Trump says he'll make Noem a, quote, special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, a new security initiative that he said would focus on the Western Hemisphere. Noem is the first cabinet secretary to leave President Trump's second term. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
The State Department says the United States and Venezuela have agreed to reestablish diplomatic relations in a major shift in a historically adversarial relationship. The move comes after rounds of Trump administration officials have visited the South American nation after a U.S. military operation deposed former President Nicolas Maduro in January.
Look like there's chaos in the White House.
A rough day on Wall Street with the Dow Jones Industrial Average plunging 784 points, the Nasdaq dropping 58, the S&P lower by 38, oil at 79.71 a barrel.
Including Bondi.
More at Town Hall.
It looks like there's chaos.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bills. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
We're going to get
from the KERN newsroom, your live and local news update. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Well, yeah, because
two brothers going to prison for their deed in 2022.
We absolutely lose.
That deed was the murder of a woman who had allowed them to stay in her house but kicked them out. 27-year-old Ronetta Faye Martin of
Charged
Rosamond
with
was
fraud.
shot in the
No, he
back of the
wasn't
head as she
acquitted.
gave the brothers
Then
a
he's
ride.
impeached, which I've
Jaquan
never
and
heard of
Jay
an
Sean
attorney general
Davenport were
getting
both found guilty this week with
I've
sentencing
never heard of
April
that.
1st.
Got
Jaquan did
impeached,
the
but he got
shooting, and
acquitted.
his brother Jay Sean set
But
fire
yeah,
to
it's-
Martin's
and his
car to
wife's a
try and
state
cover up the
senator.
killing as her body lay in the desert. Jaquan is
Yeah, but I'm
expected to
talking
get
about an
50 years
AG.
to life,
You ever heard of an
and his
attorney
brother
general
11
getting
years.
impeached?
A shooting reported Wednesday in Bakersfield, just south of the Mercado
Through the
Latino.
legislature. It's just like,
Bakersfield PD
just like
says
the
that
president.
happened just after 2,
We can do the
and
same
that
with
the
our
person who was
the
shot had
legislature.
moderate injuries. The shooting
Our
was on
one-sided,
Richmond
yeah,
Street near the intersection with Larkus. Police have not announced any arrests.
Yeah.
A man who was last seen Saturday is being sought by his family
probably
and police,
two-thirds,
and
just
they
like the
want you to be on the lookout. 50-year-old
He's an
Timothy
ogre piece of
Winfield
shit.
was last seen on 31st
Conan
Street about
won.
noon. He's described as 5'11", 130 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. Winfield was last seen wearing a green sweater, blue jeans, and black sneakers. His family says
What
he
does
has
that
a
do
medical
with
condition, and that puts him at risk. A robotic dog that roams fields and uses sensors to be able to tell if crops are growing like they should is a new piece of technology that was featured at Kern County's Farm Day Wednesday, which is put on yearly by Kern County Farm Bureau and aimed mainly at elementary
That's what I'm
school
saying. They're going to
students.
do it
One
anyway,
of
so
the
you might as
inventor
well do
says
it
she
now.
doesn't expect AI tech
That's what I just was
to
telling
take
people.
people's jobs
If
on
that's why
farms in
I'm
a
saying
major
that
way.
it's so constant.
Gas in California now $4.76 on average for regular, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on
They're
FM
going to do it anyway.
96.1 and
It's
AM
the first thing they're
1180
gonna do if they get power.
KERN.
When Speaker Jeffries.
What do you think? This is the army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Little thing, you blow their brains all
So
over
what
your
is this?
nice
I was
Ivy
supposed to
suit.
come to some lunch yesterday.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show.
Anthony
on
called me
News
this morning
Talk
saying, where was I at some
96.1
lunch?
and AM 1180
You invite me.
KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the
I
call.
never
You
got
understand me? You
invited.
hear me call from an outside line. I mean it.
Oh, that's good.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com.
Yeah,
Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Thursday, 5th day of March. And just weeks away now from the Out of Flight Open, March the 23rd at the beautiful Bakersfield Country Club. And the timing could not be better. They punched the greens about a week or two ago. So in 2 weeks, they'll be perfect for our group, meaning they'll still be a little bumpy, to be honest with you, but they won't be as fast as they normally are. And believe me, that's a good thing. And by the way, just a quick note, I talked to Chris Zucchini last night. He went out and played Scarlet and Green or Red and Blue or whatever the hell Rio Bravo is now called. So I'll tell you about that. I'll tell you about his experience out there. Daniel Petrey joins us at the bottom of the hour. Maya Hernandez, the so-called hot car mom, learned her fate in court this morning. And it's hot stove time in the National Football League. And there's some trades that we'll get into. And basketball news that will delight our guest at the bottom of the hour. But it is a Thursday. Executive Director of Kern Tax, Mr. Michael Turnipseed. How are you, Michael?
Just another day, Ralph.
Just it
Just another
isn't.
day in Bakersfield.
I wish it was. No, I don't. I'm glad it was a dramatic day. I think it's a good day for the White House.
Well, that's the
think it's a good
Washington.
day.
I'm talking about Bakersfield.
All right, what's going on in Bakersfield?
Same old, same old.
I don't know. Maya Hernandez got 15 years. That was kind of a
Well,
big
I
deal.
mean, that's almost a no-brainer.
Yeah,
I mean-
last time we talked about this, I said I kind of felt sorry for the girl.
I'm surprised she hasn't sued the car manufacturer for not having a thing. You're in that car automatically tells them that it shuts off or it's not in the book somewhere. And well, I didn't know. They didn't tell me it would shut off automatically.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that would happen. I've never ridden my car that long.
I've never heard of that. Did you know that?
These new cars, though.
Were you aware of that, though? That the car shut off after an hour of non-activity?
No.
I didn't know that either. Chris didn't know it. I thought that would get her off the hook a little bit. And I don't know why. And I know everybody thinks I'm stupid. I don't know why.
She left them with food, it said, and water and the air conditioning running. And
Yeah,
so,
but that you don't leave children. You don't leave 2 and 1 year olds anywhere alone.
no,
Anywhere.
no.
You
2
don't
and
leave-
1, maybe 4, maybe 6, 7, 8 could be in the car.
Yeah.
but not 1 and 2.
You don't leave a 1 and 2-year-old alone in a bedroom, let alone in a car. But she's going to be, she got 15 years. She'll do like 12 and a half. She'll be 32 years old. The current boy will be 14 because the dad's no good. The dad's in jail. So I assume the grandparent's going to raise this child.
Probably.
And plus, he's going to hate his mother when he gets out, when she gets out at 32. You killed my little brother.
You killed my little brother. That's.
Yeah.
So how old is he now? He's
probably 2, 3, or 4.
3?
Was 2.
So
was it
he
20?
probably doesn't even remember.
No, he has no clue.
He has no clue.
No clue.
So it depends what grandma and grandpa do.
Yeah.
Or whoever takes care of him and raises him.
And it's all how you raise your kids. Because there's an example like this Sean Starkey. You've heard this story? The guy that's stuck in Qatar.
No.
He's a local guy. He used to live here about 10 years ago. He's stuck in Qatar, and 17 interviewed him. We've got some audio we're going to play later. But they also interviewed his wife, and his wife said, "We haven't told our kids yet."
But he's stuck and can't get out.
Yes. And I was just like, see, just goes to show you people raise their kids differently. Because you have to tell your kids.
How old are your kids?
I'm assuming they're probably early teens, maybe 10, 11, 12. I don't know. That's a good question. You're right. That might be a factor. But I don't know. I would think as a parent, not that I know, and everybody would be like, well, you don't have any kids, Ralph. Shut up. But wouldn't you tell your children if your wife was stuck somewhere, as opposed to having them read it somewhere or being told by a mean-spirited little friend or something? Or
Well, again,
you know how kids are.
Well, again, if it was a family deal, why would anybody outside the family know?
From I don't know, KGET 17.
Well, how did they find out?
I have no idea. They're a news
Somebody had
organization.
to somebody had to tell him.
Well, the family did. He went on air.
Well, that's what I mean. They told him. They made it a public issue.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you have to tell your children, because what happens is my parents overhear it, and then I go at 6 or 7 or 8 or 12 years old, and I go, "Hey, your dad is in Qatar." Yeah. You know how mean-spirited and ugly kids are at that age.
Okay, that part.
You know what I'm saying? You overhear your parents talk about it in the car, and then you go to school, and you're like, "Yeah, I heard my parents say that your daddy's stuck in a hotel room." Kids are vicious at that age, man.
Pretty much.
Just saying. What else is going on?
What else?
You want to talk about how well I played last Saturday?
Well, I was waiting for you to talk the whole time about that. I mean, I figured all we're going to do is talk about Ralph shooting 90 after his 104 and dancing in the streets.
Should have been an 88, Mike. It's your fault. It's your fault.
Wait.
Because you actually, I shouldn't give you props, but you are actually I love playing with you because you're like a mentor. Although you do make comments after I hit a bad shot that kind of piss me off every now and again. Nice shot, Ralph. Like, but you keep your head down and you're like, slow your swing down and blah, blah, blah. And I went to 18 all puffed up. I made a good putt to make bogey on 17. And I'm like, Mike, if I make 4, I shoot 87. If I shoot even a double, I shoot 89. And I made a 7. Put it in the bark and then and you should have taught me how to.
Wait, you just didn't put it in the bark. You put it in the whole new zip code. If you were close enough, you would have had it in the highway at 178.
Well, even at that point, you should have said, "Are you really pulling out your 3-wood from the bark?" You should have said, "Just chip it back into the fairway and get back in the ball game." But I tried to make the miraculous shot, and you should have tackled me. You should have absolutely tackled me.
You heard him. Next time he does something stupid, I get to tackle him.
That's right. Tried to hit a 3-wood off of wood chips.
Off of wood chips.
So stupid. But it was fun.
But still, you got 90.
I did. In fact, I'm thinking I'm going to play it today if we have time, where they asked a bunch of pros and Jim Nantz what's a good golfer? What scores can a guy say I'm a good golfer? And almost to a man, they said anything under 90. If you're shooting in the 80s, you're a good player.
Yeah.
Because if you shoot in the 70s, you're a stick.
Yeah.
You shoot in 78, 79, 74, 75, you're a stick. You can go play with
If you're
pros.
under a 10 handicap, that's kind of 8 to 10.
Yeah.
Then
You
don't
can
want to play with them.
Exactly. You can play with pros. Chris Zucchini is the best player I play with. and even he's like a 12. You know, he shoots in the 70s. He's dancing through the fairways naked. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you danced in the 90s, and you were
Damn
dancing.
right. Damn right.
You started dancing after the 17th hole, though. That was the problem.
Yes, it was.
You got a big smile on your face. I'm going to break 90. I'm going to break 90. And then you swung for the fences. You swung like you were going to put a 350-yard hole and hit it on the first swing. And nope, it didn't happen.
Did not happen. Anything new with what's going on with our sewer? I want to keep these people abreast.
I haven't heard.
Has the little
nobody's
card
called me. Well, I haven't.
little
I
card
haven't
gone
said
out?
It was supposed to have gone out last week
Really?
at the end of the month.
So they've received it.
I don't know. I haven't heard from anybody. Ask one of your listeners.
Explain to them what we're talking about.
The city's going. If you're a city resident, you own your house, you're going to get something from the city, an envelope or some kind of oversized card to fill out and return. Vote if you are in favor or against the rate increase.
What's this thing going to look like? Just a little.
I don't know. They say they're going to send out information, so it might be a non-traditional mail. It might be a little more, but a lot of times it's just a postcard saying, we're notifying you the rates are going up. If you're against it, check no and return it.
What was the form when they remember the stunning letter that came out originally that hooked everybody up with this information? How'd they send that? Was that in a letter in an envelope?
There was nothing that went out. That was the vote at the city council meeting.
But I thought a letter went out informing people that it was going up, and that's what started the whole ruckus.
Well, I'm not in the city. I live in the county, so I wouldn't have gotten it. So
I know
don't
where you live.
But nobody told me.
You live in my favorite neighborhood, my second favorite neighborhood. Westchester is my first.
Okay.
You live in my second favorite neighborhood.
It's nice.
It was a beautiful neighborhood.
Nice to walk. A lot of walkers in
it's
the
a
morning.
beautiful neighborhood. Up
Lots
there
of trees.
by BCC. You should know what Zucchini does. He walks the course for exercise. Takes his dog, just walks the course.
I've done that before.
I could walk it without golf clubs.
No,
it's dragging the golf
come
clubs.
in and you just go around the parking lot and
Yeah.
start on a little trail that takes you back to the shop area.
Yeah.
And then if you're early in the morning, nobody's golfing.
Right.
So you can walk along the fence line there and just
Mhm.
get back to the clubhouse and come back around.
So you all look out for this. Your phone call? You all look out for this thing. And I'm not going to tell you how to vote. How would you suggest the city vote on this thing as residents?
It's up to you if you want to see a $500 increase in your sewer bill.
What's the alternative?
Them coming back and doing a better plan.
Do you think there's a better plan?
Yes, there is. I mean,
Well, why don't you-
it's marginal. I mean, they are under the assumption that the only way we can pay for it is through rates.
Right.
And even if you bond, but you can bond for $600 million. And it'll cost you $330 a year per customer. But that will go down over time because as there are more customers, that's a fixed rate for 30 years, like your mortgage.
Well, you have the ear of Christian Clegg. Have you said this to this man?
100 times.
And? Deaf ears?
It's city council. The city council votes.
I never thought I would say this out loud. What do you think I'm about to say?
I'm afraid to.
I miss Alan Tandy. That might be a stretch now, but I'm just not a CC fan. I'm not a Christian Clegg fan. Am I offbeat, say, to criticize this man? I mean, you go to lunch.
I will just say,
you hang out with him.
I will just say that Mr. Clegg, when he came to town and looked at town and kicked the tires and talked to a few people, made the rounds around town to people and talked to people at the chamber and talked to the people, talked to the realtors and talked to all these people.
And the people at Current Tax. And
I didn't talk to me.
No?
Nobody come see me. Because all this time I warned him. I said, you got to hit one of those like you got to find the mines out there.
Yeah. Well, he found them all right.
Well, he found them
Setting them off.
within 6 months. He said, I asked him the question. I said, so how much buried treasure have you found? I call it buried treasure.
Yeah.
And he just kind of smiled and said, if I only knew.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if I would have done it, but he was there. He's in. He's there. So that's the way it goes.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the day's events? Miss Nome? I'll say this.
she got a nice landing. The president did her a solid and created some position. What are they calling it?
It hasn't been created yet. Nobody knows what it is.
I know. I wrote it down on another piece of paper. God
It's
dang it.
something about
Safe,
American.
security of America or something like
Well,
that.
it's supposed to work with South America and Central America to get everybody on the same page. Well, would you send her to go talk to people and try to sell something? She is a very, I'll call her over self-confident. How's that?
Yeah, she's very, very.
She thinks a lot of herself.
She truly does. She truly
And
does.
She acts like she's been the governor of a big, like anything but South Dakota.
Yeah, true. I used to be a huge fan too. I really was. When she was governor
You
of South
just thought
Dakota.
she's a good-looking lady, Ralph.
Well, yeah, and that's a big part of politics.
And she was running those commercials. Remember, she's getting all those jobs. That told me she was going to do something. She put on coveralls and work and do something else and crawl out from under the sink trying to be a plumber and all those things. And come to South Dakota.
One of the
I
things,
go, there's nothing in South Dakota except
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore.
That's about it.
And cold winters.
And nuclear sites. That's about it. We have nuclear launch sites in South Dakota and North Dakota, Montana. All
Well,
up
it's in the middle of the country.
Yeah, exactly. There's nobody.
And it goes, it's got to go over the North Pole if it's going to hit somebody. So that's probably where you want to put it.
Yeah,
You're not going to put it in Massachusetts or Maine or anywhere.
or
So
LA.
You go out in the middle of nowhere and
Yeah, but it's a nice landing. It was nice of him. Could have just whacked her, made her go away. And she's a badass. I'll give her that because she went to Nashville. She got off the plane and they told her she'd been whacked, but she'd been given this cushy landing spot. And she gave a speech in front of the cops anyway. And I don't think the cops.
But she didn't talk about it.
Yeah, and I don't think the cops
watching
knew.
it.
I don't think the cops. Do you think the cops knew? Because nobody asked her about it.
Well, I was listening on the radio and they were listening to her. And, I was just listening that way. So,
yeah.
But she is.
What do you think?
She had the world at her feet. Well, the fact is,
they gave her too much.
She went and got another. She bought 2 of those airplanes.
3.
She's got a 3rd one.
Yeah, 3.
With luxury, it has a bedroom. It has 4 TVs.
That's where her and Corey were, having their affair.
Yes, in a plane that costs probably $10,000, $30,000 an hour to fly.
Yeah.
So it was just like the Attorney General going to the Olympics in a.
You keep saying the Attorney General, the FBI director.
FBI director.
Yes.
FBI director.
Pam Bondi's got her own problems.
Yeah. Well, he flew to the Olympics so he could be there, and he didn't just go to that game. He went to the 3rd place game. We watched like 2 days of hockey.
He took Wayne Gretzky to Madison Square Garden. He went to a UFC fight the following week after he took Gretzky to MSG. He's flown around. Apparently his girlfriend is a Z-list country singer. He's flown her around the country in this FBI
In the
jet.
government plane.
Yeah.
She can afford her own plane.
Mike, ask my listeners, there's no bigger critic of this cabinet beyond Sean Duffy, Doug Burgum, Scott Bessent, and Marco Rubio. The rest, you can have them. You can have the whole damn cabinet as far as I'm
there
concerned.
are cabinets.
And now Mark Wayne Mullen is added to that good list. What do you think of him? I think he's a good guy. Beloved on both sides of the aisle, apparently.
We'll see what beloved means.
Well, easy confirmation. Would you agree with that?
Compared to
Easy
her?
confirmation.
Well, yes, he's a senator.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
No, I mean, he's kind of he took over his dad's business and did it,
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have, he's not, well, when you look at it, he doesn't have a pedigree that he went to Harvard or went to
Right.
Stanford but
hardworking Okie from Oklahoma.
And he made a lot of money. And
Yeah.
then he was a fighter. He did one of those
6-0.
6-0.
6-0, undefeated.
So he's got
He's a badass. He is a badass. True badass. I'll leave you with this. Can he reset the poor image that DHS has because of Kristi Noem, the ICE agents roughing up American citizens, et cetera, et cetera?
I think there will be a whole reset of ICE.
I think so too.
I think they are going to be pulled back everywhere. And I mean, they're truly then going to focus on their original mission of getting the people who need to be gotten.
So can we save the midterms? Either house, both houses?
Depends how Iran goes.
True that.
It's all Iran.
Yeah, you're right.
Forget the gas. Gas will go to $6 or whatever it's going to go to. But
it's already jumped like 15 cents.
Well, I'm talking $2.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. That's all I can say.
Have fun, Ralph.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Mike Turnip Seed, everybody. Quick timeout. We'll check the board. Bottom of the hour, Mr. Petrey. Talk about Meyer Hernandez in the 5. And it's trade season. As we get closer and closer to the NFL draft, we'll talk about that as well. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Friday's Armstrong and Getty Show. We'll check back in with Mike Lyons, our favorite military.
Rams made a trade?
Yeah, Rams traded for Trent McDuffie yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
4 draft choices.
Well, the first over their 29th pick, the 29th pick of this year's draft, so the first round pick for them. And I think it was a 4th rounder, a 5th rounder, and a 3rd rounder next year.
That's not a bad trade.
I think one next year, too. I think there were 4.
Right. Yeah, there's a 4th and a 5th rounder for this year, and then a 3rd rounder for next year.
That's not a bad trade.
Not at all.
4 for 1?
Duffy's a stud, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he was the best player on that defense, really.
Yeah.
Not
a bad trade.
But yeah, same difference.
They need some help defensively.
And you know what?
Now, and it is the single most important and smartest financial move I have ever made. If you're staring at a couple weeks away from Dodger baseball, though. Fourth quarter, call Daniel. 395-9400. 395-9400. Just keep it locked. Tune in every Thursday at 4:30 when it appears on the broadcast. Daniel Petrey on the phone with Messmaker and Petrey Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation
Where
or
is
offer to buy or sell any security, future option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other
I
services
might
to any
be on
person
it.
in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrey or MPWA Inc.
might play-
Messmaker and Petrey Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this
I know,
broadcast
we
by
might
us
play
are prepared based
5.
upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
Jackson Hewitt knows
About
taxes
her.
are complicated, and with multiple jobs and tax forms, they're like Sonata complicated. Our no surprise pricing keeps
The Clay Travis
I would
and
love to
Bud
play it.
Sexton
I
Show, live 9 to
used to play
noon.
there a lot.
Now
I used to
back
play
to
with
the
Rich.
Ralph Bailey Show on News
Forget the
Talk
guy that
96.1
represents
and
all the
AM
fast
1180
Rich
KERN.
Abel.
Sitting in the morning sun.
Are you playing this
I'll be
weekend?
sitting
You
in
playing this
the
weekend? No way. I think I'm gonna go up Saturday. I'm gonna play Sunday with Swain and go up Saturday.
roll in.
Try to get out of the trap.
Then I'll watch them roll
get out of the
away
sand.
again.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going with those girls.
Sitting on the dock
That's what I'm
of
gonna do.
the
What they were
bay.
doing. All right, sir.
Watching the tide roll.
Mike Turnip Seed, everybody. Got some more text messages for Mr. Petrey?
Yes.
We
I
got
a couple that popped up.
What do you got?
While it may not have gone down at the time, they thought it went down at the perfect time. We are kicking their tail, and China and Russia are sitting back wondering how they can ever compete with the USA.
You know, that's a great point. Have you noticed that? The silence coming out of Beijing and Moscow? Not a word. And it was India that we cut the deal with that cut off some of their consumer oil. And now that the Hormuz is screwed, yeah, our prices are going to go up, but that's 55% of the Chinese oil. They're hurting right now. They really are. In fact, we'll get the opinion of our money man, Mr. Daniel Petrey, right after this upcoming break. Then in the 5 o'clock hour, we'll get into some local news, some court news that went down this afternoon. Talk a little sports before we get out of here. It's a great time to talk NFL football as the draft is quickly emerging. And the only thing that's certain, which there are some rumors is becoming wishy-washy, if you can believe this, there are rumors that the Raiders may not take Mendoza. Let's all, Raider fans, pray that's just a rumor. Daniel Petrey, meantime, joins us next.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Severe weather, including tornadoes, is predicted for parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas this evening. Residents are urged to keep an eye on the sky. The United States and Venezuela have agreed to reestablish diplomatic relations in a major shift in a historically adversarial relationship. The move comes after rounds of Trump administration officials have visited the South American nation after a U.S. military operation deposed former President Nicolas Maduro in January. President Trump has fired his embattled Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Trump said he was nominating Oklahoma Republican Senator Mark Wayne Mullen for the position.
Well, yeah, those guys are older than I am.
On social media on Thursday.
I was my senior year in high school.
On Wall Street, the Dow down by 784
about 5, 6
points.
years older than I
More
am, so they're
details
like 70.
at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Brothers Jaquan and Jay-Sean Davenport have been convicted for their parts in the murder of 27-year-old Juanetta Faye Martin of Rosamond in 2022. Jaquan, convicted of the actual murder, is expected to get a 50-year to life sentence, and his brother, convicted of burning Martin's car, is expected to get 11 years. April 1st. A shooting on Richmond Street in Bakersfield Wednesday afternoon remains unsolved. Bakersfield police say a person there had moderate injuries when they arrived. Just
out of control.
Golden mollusks are a major concern for farmers at this year's water summit of Kern County. They have problems because they like the insides of water pipes and clog them up. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with Hour, and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Got battery issues? Choose the #1 name in power, A1 Battery. We've got you covered with top quality batteries for every need. Cars, scooters, motorhomes, garage door openers, key fobs, golf carts, home alarm systems. More. If it takes a battery, A1 Battery has it. With to serve you. Enjoy free diagnostics on batteries, starters,
I'm going to go up with my lob wedge,
electrical systems. Plus, get free installation with any purchase. First Friday of each month is free Key Fob Battery Friday. Family owned and 60. A1 Battery has been providing reliable, friendly Kern County. Need us in a pinch? We offer emergency services to make sure you're never stranded. Tell us you heard it on the radio and get 10% off your purchase. Call A1 Battery today, 589-1433 for the location nearest you, or visit online at a1batterycompany.com. A1 Battery, powering your world, one battery at a time.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
or just simply making time for people. And a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. About it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, don't wait. Reach out.
va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
$500,000 for a building that is burned down 23 times. It makes me ask, why the hell haven't we burned down to the ground already? And then the internet, as great as it is, the comment says, I hope the person that reports this fire didn't call 911.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning, 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
It's a Thursday. Time to head the 21st and Oak, the offices of Messmaker and Petrey Wealth Advisors, to a very happy Daniel Petrey. How are you, sir?
I am well, thank you. And why am I very happy?
What?
Oh?
Have you been in a cave somewhere?
I'm what?
You have you been in a cave somewhere?
I could be. I've been very busy today.
Apparently. There are rumors around New England that Jason Tatum may be back as early as Friday. It's tomorrow.
Yes, I have heard that.
That's got to have you elated because nobody thought.
That game's televised.
Is it? Well, who are they playing?
Ralph,
Chris?
Portland? But let me double check.
And where is it? Is it in Boston?
I want to say it's in Boston because they were in a road trip out west.
Mavericks. They have the Mavericks tomorrow.
Playing the Mavericks.
They play the Mavericks.
Well, that's a W.
At home.
That's a W with or without Tatum.
It's on ESPN.
Because that's the beauty of having him back. Although I think this is a roll of the dice, man.
Cooper Flag is supposed to play.
It is scary.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, who would not want a top 5 player in the league back? I mean, he's a great player, but our chemistry is so good right now.
Yeah, that's what everybody's debating. But you know,
we're a better team with Jason Tatum.
Clearly,
so if you're going to get him back. Let him play for enough games so that we can have our chemistry back in the playoffs and see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, because nobody. I'm sorry, I just got a funny text from Romeo Agbalog, who said he's going to set himself on fire if the Raiders don't draft Mendoza. I might join you, Romeo. Have you heard that rumor that we might not pick Mendoza?
Yeah, poor Raiders.
Who is the kid, Chris, that lit up the combine, quarterback-wise?
Ty Simpson, most likely. Or Garrett Nussmeier.
I think it was the latter. I think it was that kid.
Garrett Nussmeier did have a pretty good
He kept
combine.
just throwing dimes on long balls.
Highly doubt you take him over Fernando, though.
Oh, God, I hope not. Well, no, but that's not the rumor, really. The rumor is that we're going to trade it and get more picks.
Yeah, and I've been saying that for months. You need to do that.
I don't know. But, this has got. I think this is good news, and Cooper Flag's going to be in the game tomorrow too. So this is going to be a good game against your Celtics. Because again, like I said, nobody thought Jaylen Brown could be the leader of a team. Nobody thought you guys would be in contention right now, and you throw Jason Tatum in the mix. Ooh. I think you are just one of those teams. You're right. The chemistry is going to take a minute. You just can't throw in somebody.
It will, and to be honest, we were isolation heavy with
Right.
Jason Tatum.
Guys standing around.
And we're different than that now.
You move the ball now.
We're better. In fact, I like watching us play now better than I did, even though I don't think we're a better team.
Right.
I like watching us play now than I did last year.
Yeah, you dump Marcus Smart on us, who really thinks he's a three-point shooter, and he's not. And yeah, you guys used to stand around. Marcus Smart would stand in the corner. Jaylen Brown would stand in the other corner. Jason Tatum would dribble his brains out and then try to drive and either get fouled or brick or try to kick it out to one of those guys in the corner.
Yeah, it's not very fun to watch.
It isn't. It isn't. It's horrible.
I like him. I'm a more pure basketball fan, and I love seeing hustle, movement, passing.
I saw a
back and
game the
forth.
other night. I don't know who the two combatants were, but all I remembered was they shot 50 threes. 50. Like, are
What
you
does Ralph,
serious?
not Ralph. What Chuck say about Charles Barkley? When does he say stand around and chuck threes? I forget the term he uses.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's definitely changed the NBA game.
Yep, it absolutely has. So we're in day 5, day 6, and still the market is not rebounding. Am I wrong about that?
It has not rebounded. It has been volatile, but most of that has been to the downside as, you know, they try to price in, okay, what may happen? Is it going to last longer? Are they going to be able to cause more problems than anticipated? Or are other countries getting involved in a bad way? A lot goes into it.
Yeah.
You would think it would be good for precious metals, and I think it is longer term, but I think with the sell-off in the market, we have gotten a little dollar strength, and that temporary dollar strength has created a little bit of a sell-off and volatility in the metals as well.
Yeah. Am I right to say, am I the master of the obvious as well, by saying the market can't stand uncertainty, and that's what war essentially is, absolute uncertainty?
You're exactly right, but what I find most humorous about that statement is life is uncertain.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is not a given.
Ain't that the truth?
So there's always uncertainty in not
In
just
life,
our
period.
own lives,
Yeah.
but the market, the world, and yet it loves to assume that it can, you know, ascertain what will or won't happen. And I suppose that's because when you get right down to it, it comes down to companies' bottom lines and profits and earnings. And are they growing or are they shrinking?
Yeah.
And are their margins growing or are their margins shrinking? And if their growth rate is fast enough, they deserve a higher multiple. Their price goes up because people buy it.
What does a shift in the administration, the firing of Kristi Noem, the bringing on Mark Wayne Mullen, well, does that have any impact? Does that add to the uncertainty?
You know, I don't think it has an impact, but to me, if it had an impact, it would be positive because in the political world, you're doing that because you're trying to calm things down. Like there's too much controversy over one, so you're bringing in a replacement.
She was getting way too much negative attention.
Yeah, as sad as that negative attention is, but I'm conflicted on some of those things because in many ways Trump's a politician, in other ways he is not.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about politicians.
Yeah. I think
we all do.
This is the last thing in the world he wanted to do heading into the midterms, but she got caught lying flat out.
It looked terrible. I mean,
God. That whole
if you defend
testimony.
her,
That whole testimony, the Corn Lewandowski, the way she answered the question about whether she was having an affair. Like, what would you do, Daniel, if I asked your wife, is she having an affair? And she said, I can't believe you're asking me this question, Ralph. That is such a rude question.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, who is he?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you don't answer immediately, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's the only answer there is.
Right.
There's no other answer than hell to the nah.
Just like if I did it, my wife would say, who is she?
Yeah.
And you're gone. Take your stuff and leave. Yeah.
Exactly. I can't.
That
The
one's
hubris.
an easy one.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's a simple yes or no.
And then it's what guys always say. It's what I grew up hearing: deny, deny, deny. Just simply say no.
Yeah.
Oh, Senator, I'm not going to get involved in this kind of trashy talk. Like, oh my God. And just the lavish planes and the blankie, the firing of the pilot because he didn't bring her blankie. And then they had to rehire him because he was the only one that could fly the plane.
Oh,
This woman was.
I didn't see a lot of that.
Oh God, she was the Walking Dead for weeks.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, but I think there's a chance to reset, though. I really do. If we're gonna have any opportunity at saving the midterms, I think this could do it.
One thing I wonder about Trump is why does he put? It's like why them? And you can conjure up bad reasons in your head. But at the same point, he's not afraid to let people go. It's like, well, that didn't work. You're fired.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I respect that, but why knucklehead in the first place?
Yeah. I just told Mr. Turnipseed, there's no bigger, much to the chagrin of my listeners, I think, there's no bigger critic of this cabinet than Ralph Bailey.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Pam Bondi's. I'm not a fan of Pete Hegseth. I'm not a fan of Kash Patel. I do like Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary. I like Scott Bessent, the treasury secretary. I like JD, the vice president. I like Marco Rubio. But these other people, I think, are just not able to do their gigs or just have changed who they are. I think Pam Bondi has changed who they are to try to please Trump because she was a very capable attorney general in Florida for Ron DeSantis.
Right.
But what are you going to do?
Yeah, I don't know. Rubio has impressed me.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I kind of liked him earlier in his career, and then I wondered, but
I predicted
he'll come out of this unscathed.
Yeah, I predicted at one point back in the day that he was going to win the presidency. When I said quite wrongly, Donald Trump doesn't have a chance in hell of getting the nomination. Have you gone crazy?
Yeah.
He's a TV star. He's not a politician. He can't get the nomination. And then I was like, holy cow, he's going to win the nomination.
No, he shocked me. I mean, as early on, I just couldn't believe. I'm like, this guy's not a Republican. I mean,
exactly.
I don't.
He used to hobnob with Bill and Hillary.
Good, I guess.
Yeah, he used to hobnob with Bill and Hillary. This guy can't get nominated by the GOP. And then, when you knew the first debate, when he just tore up one by one, because I was a George Bush guy at the time. I'm not a George Bush, Jeb Bush. I was a Jeb Bush guy. And God, did he tear him apart?
Well, and it's almost like they didn't quite know how do we respond to that?
Yeah.
Nobody's come at me like that as a politician. I mean, what's wrong with this guy?
Insulted me, my family, my brother, my dad, my mother. Yeah.
He could care less.
And you're right. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know, what?
Yeah, they look at each other like, is this guy really up here?
That was funny.
Not only is he up there, he's leading.
I would love to go back and look at the 2016 debates, especially the ones with Hillary. I would love to go back and look at it. When he was like, where she says, it's a good thing you're not president. And he comes back, yeah, because you'd be in jail. That was a classic.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Poor Hillary. Has there ever been someone so qualified and yet so
unlikable?
Yes.
No. Katie Porter
hasn't gotten better with time, I don't think.
No, it hasn't. Have you seen the testimony that she gave in the deposition?
Yeah, I did see that.
Her going at it with Nancy Mace.
Didn't.
She's Katie Porter. She's the national Katie Porter. Just not likable.
It's odd.
It is. It's peculiar. Yeah. Let's check in on gold and silver. You kind of hinted at it that it's kind of dipping a little bit.
I did hint at it. Got to go to that spreadsheet. Gold is just last I looked, it was a little under 5,100. So it's down, not bad, down 2% from last week. And silver is a little over 83. It slid off a little more. But Ralph?
Yes.
The debt jumped over 100 billion this
week.
So it made up for that. Remember that negative week we had a few weeks back?
That's that lone week.
Yeah, it more than made up for that. So and I don't know where it all came from.
Was this post-war?
Well, I thought about that, but I don't think that would be indicated yet in some of that, because we have to borrow money and then there'd be interest and
right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously we know the trend. I guess we shouldn't be surprised by anything.
We're at 29 billion just about every week.
Yeah, and we jumped over 100 now. The number before I went in was what is that? 38,846,360,000,000 in debt.
That is so frightening.
Yeah, I mean, 38.9. Give it we'll be. We're isn't that crazy?
And how do we keep funding this war?
Oh,
I mean, we're spending a lot of money. A lot of money, boy.
We got to be depleting some of our stockpiles. We're going to need money to replenish that too, I think.
Yeah.
And what if we have to do another, well, you don't want to call it a war, some other offensive,
Well, today he was talking about Cuba. He had the Miami, what is the Miami soccer team, Chris? Miami CF? What the hell is that?
It's just the like Major League Soccer.
And they won something, apparently.
I think they won the championship this year. It was Messi's team.
Yeah. Well, he had them at the White House today, and I guess the manager or the coach is from Cuba, and he said something to the effect, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but soon we'll be able to take you home. Soon we'll be able to walk free. You won't even have to ask me if you want to go back to Cuba. And I was like, oh, Lord, please don't. I hope he's talking about negotiations.
Don't start another one.
Yes.
I mean, it does seem like he's just waking up and I think I'll do this today.
I think he feels like he's on a roll.
Well,
Daddy, Venezuela.
If you're a country out there and Trump is bringing you up, you gotta pucker a little bit.
Oh,
thinking, he may do it this weekend.
If you're Spain, you got to be a little nervous. He's not happy with
that.
them and what they're doing, not paying up with NATO and we're cutting them off of trade. And
what happened to Greenland?
There's another one. There's another one. I'm just saying, he's if he feels like this war is a 15, he's feeling his wild oats. It seems to me, just a little bit, just a little bit. But what are
Melania needs to put him to sleep or something.
We'll see.
Give him a little extra.
All right, sir. Enjoy the ball game tomorrow night. Have a wonderful weekend.
Likewise.
And we'll wrap to you next week.
Hey.
Yes.
How'd it go with the, I don't know if I haven't heard you online, the bank.
I was just about to text you. No, it's because there were 3 different transactions, 3 different bogus transactions.
One at a time?
It's going to take 5 to 7 instead of 3 to 5 days. I was told that this morning because this was the 5th day. So I was like, well, I was told 3 to 5 days. What's the deal? And she looked at it. She said, well, there were 3 separate bogus transactions, sir. So it's going to take us probably 5 to 7 days to settle all 3.
Ouch.
She said only 1 has been settled. And I said, well, can you put that back in my account? And she said, no, we have to get all 3 settled before we can put any money back.
That's odd.
Yeah. So I will you will see me soon.
Okay, sir.
All right. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Daniel.
Too, my friend.
All right, take care. Daniel Petrey. Quick timeout. Check the board. Head into the 5. Got some local stuff, a little sports. Reset our lead story. Christy Nome had a nice little landing spot, but she's out as DHS secretary. And Mark Wayne Mullen, will soon to be confirmed and to take over DHS, hopefully put it in a different direction. In the meantime, we've got to move forward. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Thursday, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the First Look program, we'll get you an update on a kid from Bakersfield who's still stuck in Qatar. Got the March meets coming up. We got a preview of the upcoming Formula One race, which also starts this weekend. We got news. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Carpet Outlet Plus installed over 1 million square feet of flooring last year alone. Over 20 years of Bakersfield's best flooring store means you can trust us with your hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and of course, carpet. Come in today to see over 100 waterproof floors from our in-stock inventory. It's probably been time to change your floors for a while, so call, click, or stop by today. Your free in-home estimate is waiting for you. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
You still thinking job change in the new year? Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy. IT? Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI. That's what I did. Really? How? Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up. Sweet. Are classes online or on campus? Both. Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Jackson Hewitt knows taxes are complicated, and with multiple jobs and tax forms, they're like sonata complicated. Our no surprise pricing keeps things simple. Jackson Hewitt does your taxes for only $149 or less. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back. So what are you waiting for? Hurry. File with Jackson Hewitt today for only $149 or less, guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
I was ordering food from our usual place for the big meeting. My VP said, please God, no.
For workplaces suffering with corporate catering deficiency, every day is a struggle.
The food was always meh and over budget. Before Easy Cater, I thought that was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat CCD with a huge variety of restaurants, help meet dietary needs, and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and thrive. Ask your web browser about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
what do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You know what I did this morning?
What's that now?
I talked with the guys from Highway 99 Collective. We've met Dan. You met Dan.
Yeah.
He's coming in the studios. And I'm trying to get them, when they get up on their feet, we're going to try to pump them up and then get them to start advertising with us. But I got to talk with Jay, his partner, and I met Jay's dad this morning, or maybe it was early this afternoon. But I just wanted to give them a quick shout out. They're a great collective here locally. And why the city and the county continue to just avoid this issue and just leave all that money on the table. I hate to sound mercenary, but we are a community that is need of funds. And I think these collectives, if you organize it right, you keep them in the right neighborhoods, you keep them away from schools and residential areas, and you do it uniformly, and you pay attention to them, and you get reputable people like the folks at Highway 99 Collective, this thing could be an absolute economic boon for us. Other communities are doing it, and it's not making the kind of money that they thought originally. I'm talking about other counties that have gone ahead and done this, but they're making more money than they were before, I'll tell you that. So just a shout out to those guys. They're a really cool bunch of guys, and they love us, and the feeling is mutual. And like I said, I got to meet Jay's dad today. It was pretty cool. Really nice man. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What do you got?
Maya Hernandez's baby daddy was in jail for domestic violence when their sister and son died.
I thought I said that. I didn't give the charge, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. His grandparents are going to raise him, the surviving boy. who's probably 3 or 4 years old now, and as we talked about with Mr. Turnipseed, probably has no idea. He obviously misses his brother. I think even at 2, you recognize that you had a sibling. Yes? No? I can't remember 2 years old. I didn't have a sibling when I was 2 years old. My sister was adopted when I was 4, and my late sister was born when I was 10. That's why I think that even though I don't have any children, I do have a knowledge of raising children, because I was, as much as you're poo-pooing this and probably rolling your eyes, at 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, I was the third leg of us raising my little sister, my baby sister, the late Bettina Charlotte, because that's when I was missed. My parents would go out. When we first lived in Cerritos, my parents would go out just about every Friday night. And then my dad became kind of a workaholic. But I did a lot of diaper changing, Jack, when I was 10, 11 years old. I did a lot of babysitting back in those days. But I just feel sorry for that whole family. They're all destroyed. The dad is in jail. The mom is in jail. She's going to be in jail. She's 20, 21 years old. She's going to do 15 years, so she'll do 12, maybe 13 years. The kid's going to come out when he starts to realize that his baby brother is dead, is going to resent his mom for the rest of his life. I mean, how do you reconcile with a woman that killed your baby brother out of sheer self-centered narcissism? Do we need to go directly to break? We're going directly to break. We'll come back right after these words.
KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump says the military campaign against Iran is ahead of schedule.
Their Navy is gone. 24 ships in 3 days. That's a lot of ships.
Are you daydreaming?
Their anti-aircraft weapons are gone. So they have no air force. They have no air defense. All of their airplanes are gone. The communications are gone. Missiles are gone. Launches are gone. About 60% and 64%. Other than that, they're doing quite well.
The House of Representatives an effort to stop the Trump administration's war against Iran.
By a tally of 219 to 212, House lawmakers voted down a war powers resolution one day after the Senate rejected a similar measure. The resolution would have limited President Trump's power to continue major combat operations against Iran and require Iran be authorized by Congress.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston. A sex scandal has GOP leaders calling for a Texas congressman to drop his bid for re-election. Bob Agnew reports.
House Speaker Mike Johnson and the GOP leadership are calling for Republican Representative Tony Gonzalez of Texas to withdraw from his re-election race. That's after he admitted to having an affair who later died by suicide. The Republican leadership on Thursday. Earlier, the House Ethics Committee had announced a planned investigation into Gonzalez's conduct. Bob Agnew reporting.
Wall Street shuddered as oil prices continue to rise. The Dow was down by 784 points. The Nasdaq dropped 58. The S&P lower by 38. Oil at 79.71 a barrel. More at townhall.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
A credit card debt, and it stressed me out. But what I thought was out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, bills. That didn't sound right to me at all. So I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
KERN Newsroom. You're live and on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Two brothers going to prison for their deed in 2022. That deed was the murder of a woman who had allowed them to stay in her house. 27-year-old Ronetta Faye Martin of Rosamond was shot in the back of the head as she gave the brothers a ride. Jaquan and Jay Sean Davenport were both found guilty. April 1st. Jaquan did the shooting, and his brother Jay Sean Martin's car to try and cover up the killing as her body lay in the desert. Jaquan is expected to get 50 years to life and his brother 11 years. A shooting south of the Mercado Latino. Bakersfield after 2, and that the person who was shot had moderate injuries. The shooting was on Richmond Street near the intersection with Larkus. Police have not announced any arrests. A man who was last seen Saturday is being sought by his family and police, and they want you to be on the lookout. 50-year-old Timothy Winfield was last seen on 31st Street about noon. He's described as 5'11", 130 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. Winfield was last seen wearing a green sweater, blue jeans, and black sneakers. His family says he has a medical condition, and that puts him at risk. A robotic dog that roams fields and uses sensors to be able to tell if crops are growing like they should is a new piece of technology that was featured at Kern County's Farm Day Wednesday, which is put on yearly by Kern County Farm Bureau and aimed mainly at elementary school students. One of the inventors says she doesn't expect AI tech to take people's jobs on farms in a major way. Gas in California now $4.76 on average for regular, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think, this is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get a post like this, bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Thursday, 5th day of March. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. One of my favorite months of the year. The weather changes. The time changes. On Sunday, we'll spring forward. The 4th annual Honor Flight Open is just weeks away, March 23rd, at the beautiful Bakersfield Country Club. What else is going on? All kind of things are going on there. All kind of events. All the golf tournaments are rolling out. The weather's starting to change, getting a little warmer. I haven't turned my heat on in about 2 weeks. Nice. It is so nice to come home and be able to eat dinner without having a blanket over my knees like my grandfather used to watch television with like a shawl over his legs. That's what I look like for like the first hour that I'm home. Look like an old man. I wonder why that is.
Now, for the daylight savings,
yes,
we're losing an hour.
We're
correct?
losing an hour of sleep. We're springing forward.
Now, is that Saturday night into
at
Sunday
2
morning?
a.m. No, Sunday morning at 2 a.m.
Sunday morning at 2.
Sunday morning at 2 a.m. Everything changes. Your microwave clock, the clock on my stove, my television. I don't wear a watch anymore. I used to wear my dad's watch, but I've put that somewhere safe. But because it's starting to get old and decrepit. My dad bought a fake Breitling, and I know it's fake because you know that place on 21st and Oak that it looks like a beautiful. I think it used to be a condo building, but it has a jewelry store. It used to. I think it closed. It's a big jewelry store on the top.
I think I know
floor.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
And you have to buzz in. Have you ever seen Uncut Gems?
Yes.
With Adam Sandler. Yeah. You know how he had to buzz you in?
Yeah.
Well, that's how they operated. So it was a really kind of a snooty place. And I used to take my dad's watch there like once every other year. I wore my dad's watch from like 1999 for about 10 or 15 years, but it was a fake. So it finally just gave out. But I would still go there every other year to get the battery changed. And every year that I would go in, the same guy, he would, every other year I'd go in there. I must have gone in there and had the battery changed like 3 different times. And every year he'd take it and he'd put the little eye lens thing, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
To examine it. Sir, there's nothing I can do with this watch. It's not a true Breitling. And I said, I know that. You told me that 2 years ago when I first got the battery changed. But the significance of this watch, sir, is not whether it's a real Breitling or whether it's a fake Breitling. The significance, and I would go over this with him every time. The significance of this watch is my late father wore it. So whether it's a Timex or a Mickey Mouse watch or a fake Breitling, it means something to me. Could you just replace the battery, please? And he'd be like, give me 5 minutes. And every time, and finally, the third time, I went in with my producer, Nick Novak, who is in Baghdad. I was going to read. It's too long, but he put up, God, I wanted to cry. He put down this thing describing what he's going through. And he's like, well, I'm better off than some of my friends who are in Oman. You know, he works for the State Department. His parents work for the State Department. And he's by far the smartest producer. No offense to you or JR, Preston Nash, or to any of the great producers that I've had over my 20-year career. This guy was an absolute genius. He was an absolute genius. He was 25 years old, and he was smarter than I was, and I hated it. I really did. I mean, in some respects, I loved it because he made the show better, but he could actually correct me and like go into it. But he was a great kid. And I reconnected with him the night that Mike Parent, as he is wont to do, takes me once a year to Dodger Stadium on April 15th, Jackie Robinson Day. And he had a client that was meeting us there. Normally, we all just go in Big Dog's truck because most of his clients are here in town or some of his close friends. Keith Watkins out in Taft, who we're going to see at the golf tournament. Doesn't Keith Watkins win our golf tournament like every year?
I
think he's gone back to back, his little group. He brings like Freddie Couples and a bunch of it. Anyway. And so his client was late. So the national anthem was going up. So I was like, well, Mike, I love you, man, but they ain't my client. I'm going to go watch the ball game. And, you know, they showed up in like the third inning. And then when they got there, they wanted to enjoy the dining room, which I don't blame them. That's part of the allure of sitting behind home plate.
Oh, yeah.
And those seats behind the dugout that you have access to the Dodger clubhouse. And, you know, Mary Hart and her husband Bert Sugar are there. And there's Magic. And there's, you know, I just to give you a sense, I have a picture with Tommy Lasorda in the dining room, Paul Winfield, or Dave Winfield. Paul Winfield is a black actor who died. Ignore me. In fact, Paul Winfield is the guy who dies in The Wrath of Khan. Did you see The Wrath of Khan?
It was a long time ago.
The black guy who kills himself because Khan has put the thing in his ear and he's about to betray. He's about to betray Kirk, but he can't. He says, "Kill Kirk," and he can't do it. So instead, because he's got the thing in his ear, he kills himself. Yeah. That was Paul Winfield, a gay man who was about 6'2", and he portrayed Martin Luther King, who was like 5'9", which I hate. Anyway, so I had Tommy Lasorda, Dave Winfield, Lou Gossett, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So that's half of the experience is dining with these guys. And the food is fantastic. You're not eating dogs, although you can, because you know how I do it. Big Dog likes to get there at about 7 a.m. You know what I'm saying? No, we get there for like a night game. We get there at like 4 o'clock. That's when they open the gates. And I'll have dinner with the fellas and Mike, right? So now it's game time. And then around the 5th inning, I go and get a couple dogs. And then around the 7th or 8th inning, what do I get, Chris? How do I cap the night off?
You get the ice cream?
The helmet in the ice cream. The ice cream in the helmet. Damn Skippy. That's so anyway, Big Dog had to stay to wait for his client. So it's the 3rd inning, and just by stupid happenstance, the people in front of me didn't show up till like the 5th inning. The people behind us didn't show up in the 5th inning. And the people to the side of us didn't show up till like the 3rd or 4th inning. So for like 2 innings, and you can see the people that are sitting behind home plate, as you witnessed at Dodger games, you can see the whole game because the behind the pitcher shot is the most popular shot of every director in baseball. And so I'm just sitting there in my Dodger blue hoodie by my damn self. And I get a text message from Nick Novak. Is that you, Ralph, sitting behind home plate by your damn self? First of all, let's start with this. I thought you weren't driving. How the hell did you get to Dodger Stadium? And why are you by yourself? And we started talking. Well, he left a message. He's with the State Department. And he left this like 6 or 7 paragraph thing on Facebook that he's in Baghdad. And, you know, he admits, like, I've never been this scared in my life. You know, I can hear bombs blasting in the community, in the area, in the region. He said, you know, hey, don't feel sorry for me. I've got friends in Oman. I've got friends that are in much worse places than I. Even in Iran, some, and that was on the down low, but pretty scary stuff. Pretty scary stuff. I have taken up so much time. Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll come back. I'll tell you what happened with Maya Hernandez in court today and what is her plight. Bottom of the hour. It is a great time to start following football. The combines are in the book. Why do they measure your vertical jump? Why is it important to know what a 350-pound defensive tackle can jump?
Well, D tackles and D linemen and wide receivers and secondary, I understand.
Why?
Because
why is it important to know how far off the ground a 350-pound man can get if he's taking on Myles Garrett?
Simple.
Explain it.
All right, not offensively. Offensively, I don't get it either. Defensively, though, if a quarterback is throwing the ball, jump.
Okay. I get that. And I get, you know, measuring the length of their arms.
Yes.
But for quarterbacks, for running backs?
Yeah, quarterbacks I don't understand. Linemen don't understand.
Wide receivers, long jump? What's that jump?
Yeah, you got me on that one.
I don't get it. But it's a wonderful time. We'll talk about some possible trades that are being rumored about and a Ram trade that I just found out about that went down yesterday. We'll talk about that. And the big news for Celtic fans, Jason Tatum might be in tomorrow night's lineup when they take on Cooper Flag and the Dallas Mavericks. That's all coming up on the Ralph Bailey Show on a Thursday, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. By the way, our USC aficionado, Coach Kessler, texted me. I was just checking my text message. He texted us in the 3 o'clock hour. They did whack Lane Kiffin on the tarmac at Arizona State, he says. Yeah, good for that. Ugh. What a checkered life that idiot has.
And now he's the highest paid coach in college football.
I'm going to say, that's what I was going to say. Talent can sometimes overwhelm even bad character. You know? If you can win, somebody's going to hire you, whether as a player or as a coach. If you can win, you can be a POS, and somebody's going to give you a job. Quick timeout. Coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We stream live, kernradio.com.
News to
Mike?
KERN.
Friday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show. I will be up in D.C. for a college sports panel discussion. Should be fun. But I will be with all of you and Buck as we break down Iran, the continued fallout of the primary in Texas, all that and more. We will break it all down for you and take you into the weekend with all the information you need to make sure that it is a well-informed weekend on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
As we head into spring and summer, are you looking for a caterer for an upcoming event? And it doesn't matter what the event is, graduation, a wedding, a corporate event, a luncheon, a nighttime event. You need to turn to what I believe is the finest caterer in Kern County. That's my good friend Mike Ariang, Big Mike's Rage and Barbecue. Call Mike today at 393-5507. As I've talked about, Mike in his early years in his 20s played for Bill Parcells in the National Football League, and he's taken the discipline and hard work it needs to make it from Garces to the National Football League and has expressed that in his business for over 2 decades now. He's one of the finest cooks, the best food. He's been working on word of mouth, And now the word is out. Even Mike says he's got some clients as he's been advertising with us. So call him today at 393-5507. As I remind you just about every day, Mike comes with his rig, his crew. They do the cooking, they do the cleaning, they do the serving. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call him at 393-5507. That's 393-5507. Mike Arier and Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here for King Door Company. I had my garage door installed over 20 years ago and it still works like the day it was installed. So I know all about King Door's quality products, but let's talk service. At King Door Company, it's an obsession. Whether you're having your garage door installed, serviced, or repaired, you can count on King Door Company to do it right. And it all starts with training. All King Door techs have been through the King Door Academy, an on-site training center where technicians study the very latest in garage door technology so that when they show up at your house, they have all the experience and product knowledge they need to take care of your garage door. They really are the state of the art. And when you pair that expertise with King Door's legendary customer service, you get a service experience that can't be beat. So whether you need a new garage door or just service on an existing door, regardless of who built or installed it, count on the pros at King Door to do the job right. Just call 397-2744 or check them out online at kingdoor.com. King Door Company, the company with the pride of a lion.
I was ordering food from our usual place for the big meeting. My VP said, please God, no.
For workplaces suffering with corporate catering deficiency, every day's a struggle.
The food was always meh and over budget. Before Easy Cater, I thought that was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat CCD with a huge variety of restaurants, help meet dietary needs, and stay on budget. Use daily. One platform lets you save time and thrive. Ask your web browser about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
what do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
So sad. Do you want to know how strange radio listeners are? Do you know Nick Novak was my producer in, I think, 2006 to maybe 2010?
Wow,
so we're talking about 16 years ago. And somebody in the chat room is critiquing Nick. He said, a genius. He thought that John Madden's six-legged turkey was the real thing. Like, first of all, you remember that? And that is the reason is you don't think the kid's a genius, number two. And number three, I don't know. I find that extremely weird. I do remember, I don't remember that, but I do know that Novak hated John Madden. He was the one guy that thought that Madden was horrible. He would do this impersonation like, he's the master of the obvious, Ralph. This is how he does ball games. And did you see how Marino threw that ball? The ball actually spiraled and right into the receiver's hands. Like, he's the master of the obvious. He doesn't say anything innovative. He doesn't explain the game to you. He's like, boom, and there's the block. And he moves the man out of the way. And the runner runs through the hole. I could see, if you actually go back and listen to it, because this was while Madden was on.
Right.
And I would be like, you're nuts. And then that Sunday I'd watch the game and I'd be like, okay, I can see, I can see what he's saying.
No, I can see what he's saying.
But it's John Madden. Lovable John Madden. Who doesn't like John Madden?
True.
That's why this guy remembers it, because who speaks badly of John Madden?
True.
It's just a trip. They had the
turducken.
The turducken. I didn't know it was not real. So it's not real?
No.
Don't the players eat it after the game?
No. No, it's just a traditional turkey.
So that there's no duck in that turkey.
No.
See, I didn't know that.
Or actually, I think
I've never-
last year they tried to do it or something of that nature because I do remember them bringing it up. I don't think they do it every single time.
Okay, well, I didn't know that either, but
No,
nobody.
I know ever since he's brought it up, it has been a Thanksgiving legend of somebody making a turducken or something of that nature. But no, I don't think
they
I've ever
do.
seen it done.
And then they do the big Fred Flintstone, Henry VIII thing where they get the big drumstick and eat it on the air, and that's a big deal.
No, as far as I know, that's just a turkey.
Okay, well, I didn't know that, but nobody's ever confused me for being a genius. But this kid was the brightest kid I ever met, regardless of his opinion, John Madden.
You're just giving the kid flowers. I mean, I don't see why you
I know.
stomp on that.
I know, and the kid's in Baghdad, and you remember something from 16 years ago? Really? I shouldn't be complaining because the guy's a loyal listener. Good googly moogly. Hope he gets a diary. Guy's been with me for 2 decades almost. Lily Marsh just sent me a text message. Our Charlie Wilmot is stuck in Abu Dhabi and cannot fly home. He sent this hilarious picture of him and his wife saying this may be their last resort if they cannot get a plane eventually. And it's a picture. It's they're like genies on a magic carpet above what I guess is Abu Dhabi, which is on fire. But that's frightening. And Charlie is just one of the nicest guys you would ever want to meet. And the perfect honor flight. I mean, he's the heart and soul. He's one of the many hearts and souls that makes our honor flight, I think, the best honor flight in the country. I really mean that. And he's just an absolute delight. He's fun, when we're downstairs after the day is over, just shooting the crap. And he's one of these guys that keeps things going, but doesn't harsh anybody out, doesn't yell and doesn't raise his voice. But he's one of these guys that keeps us one of the best organized honor flights. I've told you what the bus drivers tell us that, hey, I do this all the time, almost every weekend, and you guys are right on time. We only had one issue once. I always refer to it. It was the, I think it was, it was 23 because I gave Mike Hart a bad time where their reporter, I think it was 2 days in a row, was late for breakfast and late for the bus, which is like a huge no-no. I mean, I know I've pushed the envelope. Like the first time I ever went, when I went to the Washington game with Nick Ragone, and we've done some other things that people don't really know about that I'm not going to confess to. I guess I can now that I'm not going to go on the flights anymore.
No, don't you do that because you're going to
You know what I'm talking about?
the rest of them.
Oh, you're right. I forgot. They told me, yeah, you're right. My fellow criminals told me not to say anything. That breaks my heart because that was such a fun thing we did.
That is a story you share off air.
You're right. And I have beautiful pictures from what we did. But yeah, say a prayer for Charlie Wilmot. And he's got a dead ringer who lives downtown and rides a bike around downtown. And I absolutely, the 4th time I saw him, I was like, why is Charlie not saying hi to me? Like he would ride by I'd be in the front yard chipping golf balls, and he'd drive down my street, and I'd be like, hey. And he'd be like, the hell? And so the 4th time I said, finally, I came outside, and I said, hey, Charlie. And the guy was like, leave me alone. I was like, I guess that's not Charlie. Looks just like him, the white hair and split down the middle, and just a great guy. So say a little prayer for our good friend Charlie Wilmot, who's been on Honor Flight, I would be willing to bet 20, 25 times, just at his own dime, and just is just a wonderful, wonderful cat. Is what makes Honor Flight so cool. What do you got on the board before we get to the bottom of the hour? Make a pivot into spokes.
I think it's selfish for anyone to want to pass the Iran problem to our children and grandchildren. If we did pass the baton to them, it would be more expensive and deadly if we did that.
Look, this is a long time coming. I apologize if I've made it seem earlier in the week that I was against what we're doing. That's not my position. My position is how we did it and how we're doing it. And there's a sense, because this gives fodder to the Democratic Party. But because the War Powers Act, I don't have a problem with. Everybody's ignored that. It's ridiculous for the Democrats to even try to make that an issue. And of course, every Republican comes back with, have you heard of Barack Hussein Obama? Have you heard of Libya? Let's get real. I mean, you can go all the way back, as we've talked about all week long, and we talked about it with Teresa Goldner. This thing was set in 73 with Nixon and tried to veto it, and no president has paid attention to it. So that's not even a factor. But the way we rolled it out, again, I hate to sound redundant, but Marco Rubio saying Israel was going to attack Iran, so we knew then Iran would attack us, so we struck first. And then Trump was like, no, I had nothing to do with it. In fact, if anything, I pushed Israel. I had a feeling. And the lack of a national address. I think anytime you go to war, I think you have to have a national address, and you have to address this. The president addressed it at a Medal of Valor ceremony in the White House. He addressed it again today. He didn't have a problem talking about it, but I think he should have sat down behind a desk or in front of a podium and addressed the nation and explained what we're doing, why we're doing it, what the mission is, and when and why we can say mission accomplished. And there are some good signs. The Gulf Coast nations are involved. The Iranians made a horrible, horrible guess that by attacking American sites on their land in Saudi and Oman and Jordan, that they could explain it away. We're not attacking you. We're attacking America. Well, they didn't bite. And now they have alienated those folks and, in fact, thrown them to our side. Final half hour of the broadcast. I would stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Forecasters say the first major storm outbreak ahead of spring is threatening much of the central U.S. They warn strong tornadoes and other forms of severe weather are possible. The National Weather Service says scattered severe storms are expected to begin late tonight in the Texas Panhandle, western Oklahoma, and parts of Kansas. Forecasters expect the strongest storms to spread Friday across much of Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri. President Trump has fired his embattled Homeland Security Secretary Christy, nominating Oklahoma Republican Senator Mark Wayne position in an announcement on social media on Thursday. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 784 points, the Nasdaq dropped 58. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Year to life sentence now looms April 1st for Jaquan. An 11-year sentence for his brother Jay Sean Davenport, both convicted this week for the murder and attempted cover-up of the murder of 27-year-old Ronetta Faye Martin of Rosamond, who was shot in the head while driving the brothers in 2022 after kicking them out of her place. 50-year-old Timothy Winfield is missing and was last seen on 30. He's described as 5 feet 11 inches tall and 130 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. Winfield was last seen wearing a green sweater, blue jeans, and black sneakers. His family says he has a medical condition, and that puts him at risk. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number one. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't. Powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete
You see what he had on?
OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Friday's Armstrong and Getty show. We'll check back in with Mike Lyons, our favorite military analyst. How are things going? What should we expect next? Will there be boots on the ground?
And government officials are making a fortune in these prediction markets. There are several ethical problems there we will discuss. Plus, high school kids smoking pot all day at school, and there's nothing they can do about it. That's the news of the day. Next Armstrong and Getty show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Trouble behind. Case
know that notion
just crossed my mind. I'm spotty on the lyrics because, you know. Oh, lady in red, take my advice, you'd be better off dead. Anytime we listen to the Grateful Dead, what was our condition? I think the term is baked. And as I said, the one time I got to see them live, I totally mistimed my THC, and because we didn't drink in high school.
Rookie mistakes.
Totally. I was 16 years old. I was a total rookie. Maybe 17, my junior year, or my senior year. I can't remember. All I remember was at UCLA. It was, God dang it, every time I tell the story, I forget what it's called. When you can just go in and get seating, first come, first serve seating. What do they call that?
Every time
Started with I know, we always forget it, and somebody has to call in and tell us.
Not general admission.
No, it starts with a C. Convention seating, conventional concert. It starts with a C. And they outlawed it because of a really famous Who concert in Cincinnati. This part I do know because this was a huge story. And where they would just open the doors and you could run in. And if you got the first seat in the first row, that's where you were sitting. And there was a Who concert. And I'm not going to play, Who's on First Base with you. But anyway, I could. But it was a Who concert in Cincinnati. And a little girl, not a little girl, but like a teenager or a college student got stampeded to death. And that ended that, Jack. Well, my Grateful Dead concert came before that. And we got there at like 4:30 in the afternoon to get we've been there since like 7 in the morning, but they opened the gates at like 4:30. And we'd been sitting out on this grassy knoll by the arena. And just because, like I said, my group of friends were all athletes, or I can't even with a straight face say that any longer at my age, because I really wasn't an athlete. I went to a tiny little high school that provided me the ability to play everything. But the guys that I played sports with in my tiny 2 high schools that I attended, we kind of justified our weed smoking because we didn't drink. We thought as athletes, marijuana wouldn't hurt us because back in the days, in the 70s, because here's the progression, in my opinion. You guys can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but in the 40s and the 50s, only really musicians smoked weed. Louis Armstrong smoked weed his whole life. In fact, there's a great Tony Bennett story where they were somewhere in some country in Europe and they were meeting some queen, and he had, I don't know if it was brownies, but he had something, I think it was bread. I think it was like banana bread. And Louis had it just stuffed with weed. And she asked him about it. And Louis said, I can get you some. And he fed her the thing and she got all the thing. And then there's another story that apparently he enjoyed laxatives. And have you ever seen laxatives, like old school laxatives? They look like chocolate.
Yeah.
I almost did it once at my grandparents' house. And he gave it to some regal person and they obviously had problems. But that's the way it was in the 40s and the 50s. And then throughout the 60s, throughout Vietnam, every college kid in the world was smoking weed. And then in the 70s, as I've talked about, I was in high school from 1976 to 1980. And I can tell you honestly that every single white entitled party that I went to, because I went to high school with some crazy, at least that period, crazy rich people, crazy famous people. And every party that I ever went to, I started going to parties and I was like 9th, 10th grade, where I would either spend the night at John Tempero's house in Northridge or Skelly's house in Sherman Oaks, because Skelly lived 2 blocks from our high school. So that was always my excuse to stay with him, because I couldn't come in the house 12:30, 1 o'clock, all baked, eyes all red and shut. But Skelly's parents and John's parents were a little more lenient. And so I would hang out with them. And every party that I went to, there was somebody doing coke in the bathroom and everybody was smoking weed. Everybody was smoking weed. That's just the way it was in the 70s. If you didn't smoke weed in the 70s, you were like considered a nerd and kind of an outlier. And then then the 80s came, and then it really got bad. That's when crack got introduced, and then it just got really bad. And then now in the 90s and the turn of the century, which I never thought would have ever happened, heroin is back. Heroin came back in like the 21st century. So that's why I've always thought, and again, that's why I'm friends with these guys at Highway 99 Collective. They do a great job. And again, I've criticized the city and the county for not getting in on this and dipping our bread in the gravy while it's hot. But these guys do an incredible job. And I was shout out to Jay and his dad I met today, and our good friend Dan. They do a really, in fact, I'm wearing a t-shirt. I'll see their t-shirt. Because I don't know why they don't advertise.
Yeah, I
in
said the
front of
same
their
thing. I've
shirt.
worn it on my show a couple times as well, but you can't do much about it.
Yeah, they advertise it on the back. Oh, and it's too high. I can't even raise it.
You're gonna have to take the polo off.
Yeah, I'm not taking it off. I'm not taking it off.
Yeah, I meant to go out to the Jaybird's birthday thing too over the weekend, and I forgot.
Who's Jaybird?
Jay.
Oh, Jay Reed?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Or
anything
not
about
Jay
it.
Reed, but Jay, the guy from.
Oh, Jay. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know him personally?
No. But they were doing like a promotional thing on the website and said, come out to this location on Saturday for his birthday. I meant to make it out there, but I had too much doing.
Well, if they do something else, because I haven't even gone to the website yet. If they do something else, let me know.
Yeah,
I want to be. These guys have been very good to me, so I want to be good to them. And then we want to get them advertising with us. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What else is going on? I mentioned Sean Starkey. We have not heard that audio yet. He is a gentleman married with kids. Used to live in our community, moved about 10 years ago. I think he lives in Texas now. But he, like our good friend Charlie Wilmot, is stuck. He is in Qatar, or Qatar, whichever way you pronounce it. And just, this is courtesy of KGT 17, can't get home.
My name is Sean, and I am an American stranded in Qatar. And so let me answer your questions ahead of time. Yes, I've signed up through all the embassy and everything that you're supposed to sign up for, but they've been no help. They told us, they were the ones that told us to get a visa and get to Saudi. And all the messages that we keep saying say, get out of Qatar. Qatar has a shelter-in-place order right now, so you can't get a ride, you can't get a taxi, you can't get an Uber. You're just stuck. I'm stuck. Yes, I have a return flight that was supposed to return on the 15th, but there's thousands of people stranded in the Doha airport, so I don't see that happening, right? So I'm stuck. I don't know what to do.
The 15th, so he's got 10 days stuck in a hotel in Qatar. And again, this gets back, I hate to beat it up like a dead horse, but this gets back to what I'm saying. It was inevitable that we were going to attack Iran. What the Democrats won't tell you, and I saw this last night on Abby Phillip, this is why I watch even Democratic shows. They had Brad Cooper on, who was an admiral with the Central Command. And he talked about in the Biden administration, they, in December, after Biden or Kamala had lost in December of 24, before the president would be inaugurated, they had thought about doing Operation Midnight, I believe it was called, where we blew up their nuclear capabilities. So you're not going to hear that from CNN or MSN now, but that's the reality. And what we're doing was inevitable. How long can we take it from these people? How long are we going to walk on eggs or glass or whatever the term is, so tenuously worried about what these people are going to do and when they're going to attack Israel. And really, to be honest with you, in my opinion, I'll be blunt with you, the only reason I think there's even a debate and why people are criticizing this thing while men and women are in harm's way is because of this sudden dismissal or lack of support for Israel. I saw a chart last night where, like 10 years ago, the general support in America for Israel was 75%. Do you know what it is today in America overall? 46%. Not even a majority of Americans support the Israel. Now, part of that is Benjamin Netanyahu, who is in more hot water than Donald Trump ever was in. They're trying to throw him in jail. He's got to adhere to the right wing of his party. And a lot of people like Gavin Newsom are running around the country saying that Trump got dragged into this war, but Netanyahu, because Netanyahu's trying to avoid staying out of jail. And as long as he's the leader of a war, they're not going to change horses in the midstream, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but this was inevitable. And I hope Gavin Newsom keeps running his big bad zoo and keeps running down Israel, because what he's betting on is, look at all the transitions that he's made on transgenderism, the guy that led the charge on allowing men to go into women's locker rooms and play with biological females, despite the fact that they're biological males. Now he's turned on that. There are all kinds of things that he's changed on, and he's changed on Israel. If I had the time, maybe we'll do it later this week or maybe on Monday or Tuesday. But I've got audio of him a year or two ago absolutely full-throatedly supporting Israel, and most recently, a couple of weeks ago, absolutely saying we should move away. Have you lost your ever-loving mind? And a lot of this is pure anti-Semitism, in my opinion. Now, I don't think Newsom's an anti-Semite. I think he's licked his finger and held it up and feel that the wins to criticize Israel, therefore criticizing Trump, therefore criticizing the Republican Party, is fashionable. I didn't get away with it. But I think in the long run, that's going to come back and haunt the Democratic Party. Because if we lose Israel as a friend, I don't mind you criticizing Benjamin Netanyahu. It might be worthy. He might be worthy of it. But if we lose Israel as a friend in the Middle East, do you understand what that means? Do you understand the role they play in the intelligence that we have? The intelligence that we have to know exactly where their nuclear infrastructure is? That comes from the Israelis. That comes from them being on the ground in Iran. A lot of it, much of it. And to think that we're going to give up that island of democracy, it's insane. It's like one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. But I think that's going to be a big play in 28 in that election for the nomination. And I think it's going to destroy the Democratic Party. It absolutely is destroy what Jew is going to vote for Gavin Newsom after all this. And Kamala Harris is joining the same kind of tribe, pun intended. Let's go ahead and take our final break of the night. I have no idea what I'm having for dinner tonight. What are you having for dinner?
Spaghetti.
I can't do pasta. I did look in the box. I wasn't even going to look in the box. I looked in the box. Thank God it was just a coconut donut left. I don't even like coconut. Can't do pasta. Can't do sweets. I had a veggie omelet this morning with tomatoes on the side. I'm doing the right thing. It's driving me nuts. And I've got to start embracing the fact that if I want to keep my A1C down, because it jumped up to 6.5. I know that's not horrible. The only reason I know that is because in these Jardiance commercials, the fat people are like, I'm down to a 7.2, and they're celebrating it. So 6.5 can't be that bad. But I was in the fives. I was like a 5.8, and it jumped to a 6.5. You know what it was, Mr. Burdick?
What's that now?
What did I used to do that I no longer do at work?
You no longer do at work?
Yeah, when we're talking about my A1C.
Sitting on that cushion?
No.
You still walk.
I used to do this every day of work, and I no longer do it at all.
Coffee? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah. I had this is tea. This is my See that? This is my medicine ball. But yeah, I was loading that thing up. I thought by not putting sugar in and just creamer, it wouldn't be that bad.
Creamer, same thing.
Creamer's, yeah, it's all sugar. And the ones that JR buy, oh, they're so good, but they're so sweet. Final break of the night. Keep it locked. Tomorrow's a Friday. I had somebody in my, we're going to effort an interview with our good friend, former hockey announcer, now with First Kern, Kevin Bartle. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be on the show tomorrow. I saw him on the 17 News. They got an event coming up where he was talking about something. And I just haven't heard from him. I'm a big fan. Good guy. Great guy. He's with First Kern now. Try to get him on the program tomorrow. I do know Mr. Bentley will be with us at 3:30. And, of course, the latest on the Iran war. It's all coming up tomorrow. Hope you'll be with us. In the meantime, stay with us. Keep it locked right here on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KERN, where we stream live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The JR Show, weekdays at 2.
Whenever you're ready.
Huh? You ready? 3, 2. So there were a number of things. I've been telling you guys for a week that Kristi Noem was among the Walking Dead. The affair, allegedly, with Corn Lewandowski, the ridiculous spending on elaborate planes that she and Lewandowski was running around the country on. But the final straw was when she got caught in a lie in her own testimony with Louisiana Senator John Kennedy and said the president approved this $200 ad thing that highlights her on a horse at Mount Rushmore. And the president was like, no, I did not. And you are out. 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Friday TRBS. Well, it's a Friday. KGT entertainment reporter Rick Bentley will join us. We're efforting an interview with our good friend Kevin Bartle from First Kern. And, of course, the latest on the Iran war. All that plus me at 3. It's TRBS on News Talk 96.1, AM 1180, KERN. I'll see you at 3.
Knows are those Medicare pros, Christine, Kelly, and Lynn. You know, actually,
he texted me.
They are superheroes. Christine, Kelly, and Lynn.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
The playoff chase is heating up as the Condors host the Tucson Roadrunners for 2 big games this weekend. Friday, it's a $3 beer Friday with Michelob Ultra and Mango Kart, just $3 till the start of the second period. It's also Faith and Family Night, presented by Michael K. Brown Landscaping and Kern Pools, with a performance from Bakersfield Worship Project. Saturday, it's First Responders Night with an emergency vehicle parade, presented by 5-0 Driving School and Eyewitness News. Stores open at 6, puck drops at 7. Fun starts at just $15 at condorstown.com or by calling 324-PUCK.
This is Condorstown.
The Central Coast is starting to look a lot like the motherland. It's time to dust off those clubs.
At CentralCoastGolfCard.com, 11 premier California golf experiences are just $125. Enjoy fresh greens, ocean breezes, and the best golf landscapes in the state for the rest of the year. Why pay full price when you can play more and save more? Visit CentralCoastGolfCard.com today and start swinging into spring.
CentralCoastGolfCard.com. More golf, less green.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Worst state in the union. No, Mississippi's worse. Mississippi's worse. Alabama's got Tuscaloosa. They have the space thing. I have a friend whose daughter wants to be an astronaut. She went down there and studied. It's one of the best, what would you call it, aeronautical schools in the country. So you got that going for you. But then there's Selma. If you're a black person in Alabama, Selma, it's a bad history. But there's nothing worse than Mississippi. I'm sorry. I know some people that are probably watching or at least listening that are from Mississippi. You know, screw you, Ralph. But Mississippi, I'm saying. I spent a lot of time in Meridian. I had a friend who lived in Meridian. I've been to Jackson. Never been to Tupelo. Always wanted to go to Tupelo. Home of? Tupelo, Mississippi. Home of?
Oh, Lord.
If you either know or you don't know.
Jackie? No.
Jackie?
I was just throwing out Robinson just for the...
No, he's a Cairo, Georgia boy, then moved to Pasadena, California. Remember, that's the only thing we have in common.
True. That's
We
right.
were both raised and born in Georgia and lived in LA. Bartle can't make it. He's got a 10:40 tea time tomorrow.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. Good dude. Good dude. Haven't seen him in a long time. I'm trying to find out where he's playing. Kessler, I know you know. You're my age. I'm asking the boy. He texted me Elvis. Elvis from Tupelo, Mississippi. He and his twin brother. Do you know he had a twin brother?
Did not.
Who died at birth. I think his name was Aaron. Or is that Elvis's middle name? Yeah, that's Elvis's middle name. I can't remember what the dead brother's name was. But you know what Mark Swain sent me? Remember I told you I used to play with Swain and those guys back around the turn of the century?
Huh?
And Swain is a statistical freak. He literally, it was called the Grocers and Roofers. Mark was the only grocer. And it was a bunch of roofers and contractors, a great group, just like the guys that I'm going to play with this Sunday. They're a great group of guys. There's about 12 of us, 3 or 4 different groups. And what I love about these guys is they all take it very seriously, but nobody takes it seriously. You know what I'm saying? We all throw in $10. Even my broke ass can afford to lose $10. And, you know, I popped 16 times. So if I just make a couple pars, and God forbid I make a birdie, you should be able to make some money. But Mark is a statistical freak, and he used to have a sheet that had all of our scores in this binder. Well, he sent me, Mr. Burdick, a breakdown of our scores, including mine. Do you want to hear what kind of player I used to be?
Sure, why not?
Got nothing better to do in the last 3 minutes of the broadcast. Here are my scores beginning at 9/13/2000, 26 years ago. So how old was I? About 25? No, yeah, right. On 9/13, apparently, I shot a 75. I think that is a typo. I thought I only shot 70 in the 70s twice. Summer after I finished at CSUB, I had to take a stats class. It was from 7:30 to 11:30. I had a job waiting for me at the Californian. I was going to be a correspondent, which I inevitably did for about a year and a half. And the stat class was from 7:30 to 11:30. And all I had to do was take that. And then, he's going out to Scarlet and Gray. I was going to tell you the story. Chris Zucchini, I talked to him last night, went out there. And he said, good and bad. Because it's a whole sordid story. But let me go through my scores real quick. So apparently I shot a 75, then I shot a 91, 88, 92, 87, 97, 88, 84, 87, 85, 87, 89, 91. So that's what I'm saying. I used to be in the mid-80s. You fall out of bed and shoot an 85. And there are days where you just don't have it. Hungover probably. Shoot a 91, 92. That 97 was ugly. But Zucchini told me he went out to Scarlet and Gray or whatever the hell they're calling it. And again, it's a long, sordid story where this local cat tried to get in. And I'm not going to repeat rumors, but there was talk. Well, I guess I am. There was talk that this guy's income was questionable. Let's just say that. He came for money, but he was making money very questionably. I'll just say that. Then there was reported film footage in Rio Bravo of his wife with the groundskeeper's son. They were coming out of a locker room, so that blew up. He ran to Mexico. The dad has tried to step in. They're reformatting it. It's no longer Rio Bravo. It's Scarlet and Gray. Zucchini went out there and played, and he said, they have no water. They have no water. They have a guy that goes out that collects like water in buckets and literally hand waters the fairways, which he said were in pretty good shape. He just said that the fairways were kind of, the rough was kind of gnarly. Weeds, not really taken care of. He said he lost a couple of balls. But we all love that track. I mean, I can remember when Rio Bravo was jumping. I played it in the 90s. Tony Tarango, my dentist friend who's now retired in fourth quarter of his life, we used to play out there. He was a member. We used to play out there all the time. I used to run into Mark Hudson, Justin Hudson's dad, all the time. And I used to run into Donnie Youngblood out there every now and again. I mean, they used to pop. They used to have those schooner beers, those big schooner glasses that I loved with clam chowder to end the day. But they've hit some hard times, and now the dad has stepped in and is trying to recoup it. But, you know, it's such a great track with that tremendous par 5 that's like 600 yards, the whole 11. Water on 10. You got a 9-iron in, but you got to hit it over the water. And a lot of times that sphincter gets tight. The downhill dog leg with water. I mean, it's a really nice track. I'm just not sure if they can get it back up on its feet. I got to get going on my feet. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. I will rap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has been fired by President Trump, and Oklahoma GOP Senator Mark Wayne Mullen has been nominated in her place. Mullen says he plans to work with Democrats to protect Americans in his new role.
What do you tell Democrats?
I'm gonna have a conversation with if Mr. Schumer wants to sit down and talk to me. I'm going to sit down and talk to them. I want to try to earn their support, and I'm going to be very open and honest with them. And at the end of the day, all I can do is do my job. And so I'm not going to get in the tit for tat. But if they have real concerns, I'm going to listen. I'm going to see if it's practical. But nothing's going to prevent me from doing my job. I'm going to enforce the policies and the laws that Congress has passed, and we're going to protect our homeland.
Trump says he'll make Noem a special envoy for the Shield of the Americas. There's a push by GOP House leaders to get Republican Texas lawmaker Tony Gonzalez out of Congress.
Gonzalez admitted having an affair with a former staff member who later died by suicide. The House Ethics Committee is investigating. Michigan's Lisa McClain is chair of the Republican Conference.
We didn't call for him to resign. We asked him to
withdraw
from the race.
Tennessee Republican Tim Burchett thinks Gonzalez's time in Congress is over.
I think he should do the right thing and resign.
Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says he would support expelling Gonzalez from the House, a rare step that requires a 2/3 vote from the chamber. Ed Donahue, Washington.
President Trump says he should be involved in choosing Iran's next supreme leader. The U.S. and Israel have been hammering the country for a sixth day today. On Wall Street, the Dow, down by 784 points. The S&P 500 lower by 38. More at Town Hall.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good. When I called, they told me to stop. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976. From the KER